sport fans watching around the world. This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Let's get straight into the episode.
Yeah, we heading for the sun. Shawty got my high, I ain't tripping for the funds. Yeah, I won't start, I ain't tripping, I'm a stun.
Alright y'all, today's a Monday and Mondays are for Docs. Thank you for clicking or tapping on that start today's spew. But first, to my guest, let me say that before we start, I have to say something to you that I say to everyone that comes on, but I would not be saying it if it wasn't true. You're sitting here because I find you interesting, and that's because you are an interesting person. I want to learn more about you, how you think, and how you feel. And I love that I have the opportunity to be able to share this experience. So I really appreciate you coming over. Thank you for sitting down. And ladies and gentlemen listening, I know you already know who it is. You read the title of the intro, but gosh, this episode takes me back. I'm very, very excited to do this episode. I've been wanting to do it since episode 1. For those who don't know, it's one of the OGs and one of my bestest mates I ever made in my entire life. This is Ethan Eren.
Thank you, mate. It's good to finally get this done.
Good.
Been a long time coming.
Dude, I meant it when I said that because it's weird because of being like 13, 14, I feel like every memory I attained from there was probably the most powerful memory I ever got. You know what I mean?
We had some times back in those days. Like I always look back on those high school days with that core group of guys as well that we had.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. I was thinking about this too. There was probably 5 of us. 6, maybe.
Oh, I feel like there was like the core, probably 5, and then there would be like 1 or 2 extras that would come in and come out, and then we'd always be like interchanging people in.
Yeah.
But we had our group there.
Yeah. Do you have any contact with anyone from at all? I'm going to beat the name of the school out.
Not really, to be honest. Like people come up and like I'll speak to Josh every. Oh, fuck, not as much as I'd like to, but like he pops up every now and again.
Every yonk or 2.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
my new time frame I'm trying to work on.
Yonk.
I think for me, about 9 months is usually about 6 yonks. But if it's only a week, it's still a yonk.
It's how you feel it is. A yonk can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah,
it could be 2 days and it'll feel like forever and be like, yeah, that's a yonk.
Yeah. The boys I think the only people I have any contact with is I'm in contact with Pat a lot and Delvin and Luke, but everyone else not really. But I wish I did. I really wish I did.
Oh, we had it good back in the day. Like we were always in each other's shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I like Pat, Del, Luke. I fucking haven't seen any of them in ages. I think the last time I saw them would have been like some random bump in at the pub.
Yeah.
I'd just be there in the smoking area. I'll look over and be like, oh shit, there's them. I'll go say hi.
Dude, I've mentioned on the podcast a few times with every time I'm doing any of the lads from back in the day or people from school. Every time I see you and at the pub, I'm always like, oh, no way. Yeah.
I was actually talking about that today earlier with my partner. She's like, who is this guy? And I'm like, oh, like we were like really good mates in school, but like I never see him anymore. And she's like, oh, when was the last time you saw him? I'm like, oh, probably just at the pub. Like, bumped into him and be like, Jake, how are you, man?
Yeah, it's madness, dude. You know what? When I was actually thinking of doing this podcast, like say, not thinking of doing it or thinking about us sitting down like 2 hours ago, I was walking around the house just kind of thinking about it. And then, you know what was playing in my head? Have you ever seen Bondi Rescue?
Oh, like bits and pieces. I never sat down and watched
it. Have you seen the intro?
No,
like,
I would not be able to tell you what it is.
It's Take Me Back to the Sweet Times.
That song.
It's just playing in my head as I'm thinking of
Those were the sweet times.
It was the sweet times.
Take me back.
Oh, man, yeah. Take me back, bro. I honestly value everyone that I met during that time period too. Like that was probably in my head the most important period of my life to develop, I think. 13, 14. I really feel like, to be honest, I peaked then. It's been downhill since.
Like it was good. I am sad that like once I left that school, it really did start to diminish as much as I didn't want it to. Like I don't know, things just kind of grew apart. Everyone started doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And like it sucks, but
yeah,
it kind of happens, unfortunately.
Well, you just spread your wings and flew, but to be honest, because the rest of us were chickens trapped in a coop, bro, and we're like one got out. He's out. Yeah, I remember you were going clubbing, you had all these new friends and stuff, and we're all just kind of like watching, bro, from in jail. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, he's out.
It looks so much fun.
Don't forget us.
It was good. Shit got crazy after I left that school. To be honest, 17 hit and got that my ID scratched.
Dude, I was hoping you just bring that up.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of that.
That was sick. From 98 to 96, it worked every single place except for the casino.
Oh, yeah.
The only reason I went to the casino was because we missed the last bus out. It's pissing down rain. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. We're like, well, fuck, what are we going to do? So we all go to the casino. Everyone gets their IDs checked. And then it comes up to me and he takes it. And he's looking at it for like 10 minutes. And he's like, oh, I don't think this is real. And I'm like, no, it's definitely real. And he's like, oh, look, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, fucking give it back and I'll head out.
Yeah.
Like, why do you want it back? I'm like, because you're not letting me in. He's like, what, are you guilty? I'm like, no, you're not going to let me in. Give me my ID and I'll fuck off.
Yeah.
And we went to a McDonald's and everyone took like 15-minute naps in turn. So there'd be 4 of us sitting around the table and I'd be down for 15 minutes. I'd get up, the next person would go down. And we did that till about 6 o'clock when the first train started running back out.
Good. Nice. I like that. It's like, why do you want it back? And you're like, because it's real.
It was real. It was just scratched.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, I think it might have been you who even told me about the scratching idea because I remember I was hanging out with Thomas Camilleri a lot back then. We were working together. So we'd trekked it in together with a couple scratched IDs. Then to Ivy, I think was the first time we tried it. And then I remember saying to Luke Mount, bro, it works. Let's go. I know how to fix your ID. And he's like, yeah, sweet. He shows up. He's born in 97.
Oh, fuck, you're not doing
No,
that.
99 or something. Whatever.
Either
He was
way, that's
younger,
not working.
yeah.
It's got to be one of the 6s or the 8s where you can easily just scratch it
I
off.
was like, what are we going to do here? It ended up working because we ended up just getting the wristband from Ivy and then going outside and we're like, oh, dude, if you just hold it and tape it on, then it's sweet. And then we're walking in and then we're watching him tug everyone's wristband and we're like,
Oh, shit.
no. and we just went to Woolies. We literally bought tape and scissors while we were there and tried to do it. And it looked like the worst preschool version of arts and
geez.
crafts.
Yeah, just like really ripped up in the center.
Yeah, and the tape was like overlapping and folded, so you could see like a triangle of clear tape and like every
Very
angle.
clearly, you guys are trying to fuck with them.
And then we're like, we'll have a try, and then we all just kind of go in. The guy just kind of like gets to Luke and just flicks it, and then we went in and we're like, anything works, bro.
Well, my first time ever to a club, it was my best mate's birthday. Him and his twin just turned 18.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a big fuck off party at their place on the... Honestly, I think it might have been a Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
The Friday night comes and they're all going to Chinese laundry, like back when Chinese laundry was kicking.
Yeah.
And I was still 17, but I'm like, I'm not missing out on my best mate's like first time out.
Yeah.
So I call up my older brother Aiden and I'm like, mate, you got to come to laundry tonight. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because I need you to go in, get your wristband, come out and give it to me. Goes in, comes out, works easy.
Oh,
like was in the
what a
whole
champion.
night. I reckon got for halfway through the night and he calls me and he's like, can I have the wristband back? I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work, man. Like I can't, if I give it to you, I'm not going to be allowed back in and like, it's kind of my thing. So I'm taking this one.
Yeah, nice. You could have just got another one.
Yeah, he could have.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of recognise him. He's pretty recognisable.
Yeah. Nah, that's good. What a goat, bro. Aiden's a goat.
Yeah, he's great.
I love Aiden.
Yeah, he's a great egg.
Oh, all you Erens are good, bro. Honestly, Seth's one of the boys too. Like, I love
yeah.
Seth. They're all just fucking champions, bro.
Yeah, like
You
fucking,
know, I've hung out with all 3 of you individually of different times
it's
in my
crazy.
life.
I remember, like, I'm pretty sure I came home from a night out one night and went into the backyard and you were all just there hanging out with Seth. And I'm like, what the fuck? When did this happen?
Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah.
Because
Nah,
we
but he's
started
good.
hanging out with the Glenwood boys and they were a bit younger. And then they were a year above Seth. So then we were just like, all just kind of just became
all
like
the same
crew.
age,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. I think I was like 21 or 22 and Seth was like 18 maybe. Or
Yeah.
maybe I was 20 and he was 16. Who knows? But it was like, he was older than me, bro.
Yeah.
Seth's older than us.
Fuck yeah. Honestly, so the way that he thinks, I'm just like, you're like a grown man. You're so wise. Me and Seth have gotten so close in the last couple of years. Like, when I was in high school, not going to lie, I was a bit of a cunt to him. I was a bit of an asshole to both my brothers. I don't know what it was. It was just like, fuck off. I'm hanging out with my
Yeah.
friends. But then, like, I don't know, we hit a certain point and just love. Like, hanging
nice.
out all the time. Like, every Sunday I'd wake up, go into his room at 6 o'clock in the morning and we'd chuck the UFC on.
Nice.
Watch that for the whole day. And then, yeah, it's really nice. I feel like, especially moving out from home, it deepens that relationship with your family because you don't see them all the time. And you're like, oh, I actually do like these people. They're not so bad.
You're at home by yourself, you're like, oh.
I don't have anyone to talk to now. Like, I used to come home from school or work and just, I'd be so like, I don't know, I'd be ready for conversation, but whether they liked it or not, So I'd come in and just be the most annoying person ever. Even my mum would be like, can you just fuck off back to your room, please? You're pissing everybody off. And I'm like, I'm just having fun.
It's like 3 o'clock. She's like, oh.
God, he's home soon. Got to reserve this last moment of silence before he gets here.
Yeah. Well, bro, it was sad news when the house got sold over there.
Yeah, man. I was in fucking Europe when that happened.
Oh, really?
I woke up one morning to a text from mum, and she's just like, she said a bunch of stuff, but at the end of it, it was like, love you, miss you, P.S. I'm selling the house. Instantly, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, I'll give her a call. Granted, the time zone, she's asleep right now,
yeah.
so I don't hear anything for like 8 hours. And the whole day, I'm like, what the fuck's going on with the house? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Finally, she wakes up and tells me. And like, it was bittersweet because it was nice having that place in Glenwood as well, because if I was ever in the area, it was nice to be able to go crash there. But also, mum's been talking about moving to the mountains for years, so it's really good for her to get out there.
Yeah.
She's loving it, so
Yeah.
it's not the saddest.
It's not the saddest.
Yeah,
But even to be honest, for all the boys, it was a milestone. I went to the auction.
Did you?
Yeah.
You went to the auction?
Of course, I had to. Dude, that house was a safe spot for me. Like,
it was good.
It was the same for me. If I was out and I'm another 15 minutes, at least 20-minute walk where I was living over at Quakers Hill at the time, and you'll get off always at the T-Way.
Yeah.
It was just safer just to go there.
It's like, well, you know that house there. Let's just go there.
Yeah.
It was nice. We definitely had some times there. Mum definitely caught a few of those times when she wasn't meant to.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for sure. I remember one night the first time I ever invited my group back to my place after a night out, and we invite everyone back. I get back there, and Aiden's done the same thing with all his mates. There's like 30 cunts in this house, and you know the house, it's not very big. It's kind of small, so shit's just wild. There's people all over the place. Gets to like 6 a.m. I'm passed out in my room. Mum comes home and sees the living room full of like 10 of my mates. One of them's doing a nang. Walks into my room, knocks on the door, doesn't even say hi, just says, get everyone the fuck out of my house. You have 10 minutes. And she leaves. I get up and I'm like, all right, yeah, you've all got to pack up and leave. And then, she comes back and sad to say she didn't speak to me for the rest of the day.
Yeah. I've had times like that too, man. I'll go to a story in a minute, but I remember one time it just popped into my head. I don't even know how. Oh, because Aiden was working at the Bottle-O. So I'd go in there a bit and I'd just be asking him, what should I get? I want to make a couple premixes tonight, or not make premixes. I don't want to get premixes. I want to make some cocktails tonight. And he's like, oh, I'll try this and that. Tell me about these coffee ones and all these. Go to Woolies, buy some of this lemon and lime and shit. I was like, oh, let's give it a go. And then one day I left, and then he called me a bit after. He's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I don't even know, hey. Like, I'm just looking for something to do. He's like, oh, I'll come back and we'll make a couple drinks. I was like, yeah, sweet. That was one of the wildest nights I've ever had, bro.
He used to be on one. Yeah. He's very calm now, but back in the day, my God, he would let it out.
Yeah, bro. That couch, let me tell you, as much as I can with keeping this as politically appropriate as possible, I sunk pretty deep. I was comfortable.
Yeah, he gets you like that.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, a couple of times Dad's caught me. Mum's never really caught me or anything, but I remember one time had a couple of the young boys over, like, oh, this was a wild night. I remember I went out and I ended up getting kicked out of Fiddler just for being too messed up after a while. And then we ended up, you know, those flash moments where you're at one house and another house, and then you just don't really know how you got there.
No, you just wake up and you're like, oh, we're in a new spot now.
Yeah, and then you kind of like doze off. And then anyway, I remember I ended up being back home, and it's probably about 6:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock, and then I hear this real screeching sound coming from outside. So I open my window. There's, not going to say who, but one of the boys' cars sideways in the street, and then they all get out like zombies. Fuck. And I'm like, what are they doing, bro?
That's not good.
And I've had a big night, dude.
Oh, no.
And like, I haven't slept yet, and I'm just like, I'm going to have to go park his car. So I kind of like pulled all my sense together, parked his car, said to everyone, get inside, what are you doing? Everyone else is still in bed. Like, everyone's home. So I put them all off into like beds and somewhere to sleep and stuff. And then I go back to bed and I'm like, surely I can go back up. So I wake them all up. Hey, you want to get you want to get up?
I'm not ready to go to sleep yet.
Everyone's like, half of them like, yeah, all right. I'm like, can I go for your bum bag? Just take whatever you want out of there. So we start rolling doobies out the back anyway. And then Dad comes out the back at about, I don't know, 9:30, 10 a.m. And then there I am sitting on the ground with a dinner plate with two other guys, and I'm like kind of like doing like an Asian squat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone else is laying down on the floor, and I'm like a wide awake, bro, like Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen, you know, like. And then I see these two New Balance dad shoes, you know.
As soon as
like,
you see the New Balance, you're like, that's dad.
yeah, I'm like, I look all the way up, and then he looks down at me, and he's like, "You had any water?" And I'm like, "No, sir." And then he's like, "Well, get yourself some water. Make sure your mum doesn't see you."
Oh, what a legend.
Like,
What a legend.
like, oh my god. Oh my god.
I feel like dads. From speaking in experience, my dad, he's not. Obviously, when we were really young, he'd get in trouble and kick the shit at us. But now that we're like all adults,
Yeah.
he'd see us do dumb shit that if mum saw, she'd fucking not be happy. But dad would just sit there and be like, fuck, like,
idiot.
oh, I had a feeling actually this story was going to come up on this cast.
Okay.
You remember the New Year's Eve we had in Karong?
Oh, as if I will ever forget that. Who do you want to tell the story, you or me?
Oh, look, I feel like you've been doing this for a longer time, so you're probably better at telling stories.
And I've also
But
told this story a lot
I'll
of times.
add my little 2 cents onto it at the end.
All right. So we're going away for New Year's. Me and you and I and my family are going out to a caravan park in Nowra. So we go down to Karong in Nowra, and we were told specifically multiple times, you're not drinking. Because we were like 16 or 15. How old were
Even
we?
before we left, my dad was like, all right, don't you two fuck this up. Like, no drinking. Don't fuck it up. I remember being there like, Dad, this is my mate. Don't act all like staunch in front of him.
Yeah. I remember that too. And then I remember on the way there thinking, we're going to drink.
Oh,
you
we
know?
go drink.
Yeah, we're going to drink.
We're that age. We're like, it's New Year's Eve.
yeah.
We're finding some alcohol somehow.
And we got lectured by my mum on the way there too. And then we had like a bit of a family friend kind of dinner, I think, that night.
that one house.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was.
So we were just kind of like around lots of alcohol too. And we were 15, 16. Everyone's older, is a bit 18, 19, 20, and then the adults. And we're just mad jealous. So we just snuck out from there as soon as possible and then went on a mission, bro. You know?
I can't believe how much we found.
Yeah. First he raided Dad's fridge and got beers out of there.
Oh, he wasn't happy with that.
No, he was not happy with that. I remember we got so drunk by the end, we went back and I put $20 in the fridge. Then we met up with Tom, the wild Tom. Remember that Tom? He was like, I won't say his full name and the stuff on the podcast, but we were hanging out with another kid who was a bit younger and he was wild. Like he was a wild
I do remember
kid.
being with some like that night is quite hazy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Tom had no fear. Tom would go into other people's caravans.
I remember the esky outside the tent.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, jeez.
He would go raiding. So anyway, we just stocked our bodies full of way too much alcohol to the point where I remember I was blind, and then I remember kind of coming to, realizing we were both blind, and then realizing, oh no, he's blind.
I was not in a good state.
I was like, oh no, he's blind. So it took me like, and we were told to be home midnight. So like
That was
fireworks
not
go
happening.
off, midnight you're home. Probably about 2:00 in the morning, I remember bumping into people and they'd be like, hey, weren't you meant to be home at midnight? And we're like, yeah, we're meant to be home. We'll be home by midnight. And they're like, it's 2:00. We're like, nah, we better go home soon. Anyway, so I literally carry you back. It
Yeah.
probably took me an hour. Like it
That's
was
probably
so
where all the
hard.
time. That's why we were so late, is because I couldn't hold myself up.
Yeah. I remember at one point I'm walking with you and I kind of like let go of you to do something and you just kind of stumbled forward and you just slid your face across the gravel. And I remember like, oh God, what have I done? Anyway, we get back home. Let's just say Mum wasn't happy. Mum was not happy.
No.
Me and Mum had to hold you up while you took a piss.
I remember. I don't remember it, but I remember being told that,
Yeah.
and that is so fucking embarrassing. My God.
That was so good. Anyway, Mum was not happy. I woke up in the morning, I was pretty early. It was only after a few hours. And there's no Ethan. Ethan's gone.
That's the first thing I remember from the morning.
That's as far as I can remember. So do you have any idea what happened then?
So my first memory of the morning after was waking up on the veranda of some random cabin. Don't know where it was. Don't know whose cabin it was. But yeah, just explored out there. Wake up, and I wake up with a backpack. I didn't have a backpack the night before. Don't know where it came from. I don't even remember what was in it, but I woke up with a backpack. So wake up and I'm like, oh, I should probably get back to bed. So stumble back to the caravan. I don't know how long it took me, but I ended up getting there and there was a bed free. So I'm like, fuck yeah, all right, time to sleep.
Yeah.
Pass out and then
But when did we eat? Didn't Dad cook us bacon and eggs and orange juice?
we wouldn't needed it.
I think we did. I think Dad's like, you need some of this. Was it? So did you go to bed first and then we ate?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I honestly reckon, I'm pretty sure I got there and just crashed straight away. I was not in any state to do anything.
Yeah.
I probably woke up still drunk, to be honest.
Yeah. Anyway, so then you crash and I go back awake. So now I'm up. And there's not much to do. We're pretty unwell. So I'm just laying on the floor playing my phone. And Ethan decides, I feel really, really sick right now. I better go outside and spew. And because I'm laying on the floor in front of him, he would have had to step over me to get outside. But instead, he just thought, good places ever. And you spewed all over and in me, bro. Like, I remember the taste of orange juice. Like,
Oh no! So it must have been after breakfast.
Yeah,
then.
that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Now. I remember specifically.
I'm so sorry.
And I was shirtless and I just looked like a glazed carrot Krispy Kreme donut, bro. Like it was a glazed Krispy Kreme special. You know where they put the stuff on top? That's what it looked like.
Oh god.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, you took your first spew on me, then went outside to spew the rest of it up. And
I
I
was
had
spewing
to
for like 8 hours that day.
yeah, that's right. And then I had to waddle myself like a sumo wrestler all the way to the showers, which was about a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, I just remember you leaving and I'm like, I look up at you, I'm like, Jake, I'm so sorry. And you're just pissing yourself laughing, thinking, nah, it's fine, dude. I'm like, it's so not fine. It's so
I thought it
fucked
was
up.
hilarious. And you know what? I walked past probably about 15 people I know on the way there, and they had the same face you had. They were disgusted in me. I thought it was hilarious, bro.
Safe to say, that was the first time, not the first time I drank, but probably the first time that I got proper obliterated.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been, there's been some nights since, few and far between, but never like that. Like that next day was rough.
Yeah. And then we had to walk, and then obviously Mum was like, I warned you, you're going home.
Yep.
So she had to drive us 3 hours home, and she was not happy on the way there. But what made her even more mad was when we were leaving the caravan park, and everyone that saw us the night before gave us the walk of applause.
Yeah,
bro.
we're leaving and everyone's just like,
yeah,
"Woo!"
go boys.
And I'm like, we must have been fun last night.
yeah.
I don't remember it, but we must have been.
Yeah. And Mum was not happy too.
No.
We're giving everyone the waves. You had your bucket.
I remember sitting in the
vomit
back
my
seat of the
hair.
car with that bucket just in case.
Yeah. Oh God, they're one of my greatest memories, bro. I loved Korong. It was
We had some really good times there.
Yeah,
We had
yeah.
a few times.
Yeah.
Well, I know there was a few times that I didn't go, but I still reckon there was about 4 times
Yeah.
that I went down there with you.
yeah, for sure.
That one time with just you, and then I think the other 3 times we got nearly everyone involved.
Yeah. We had I think there was one time it might have been me, you, and Pat. I believe it might have been, but I can't really remember.
It's all,
My 16th was a great birthday weekend we had down there.
was that with
That was at the gang of
with
10.
everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a great weekend.
Yeah, that was a
bro.
lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I peaked back then, bro. Yeah.
I feel like I'm peaking now.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
bro.
shit's good now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Honestly, wish I could go back to school instead of work, but
yeah,
other
yeah.
than that, shit's awesome.
Oh, dude, I'd rather work than be at school every day.
Oh, had no responsibilities when you're in school. You just showed up, hung out with your mates, went
Yeah.
home and hung out with your mates again.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
I
but-
suppose for me though, in my own mental journey was like I was always trying at school. Like I felt like I was never able to reach my own expectations of what I expected of myself. Like I'd prep myself every day. You're gonna be good today. You're gonna try hard. You're gonna learn. The teacher's gonna be proud. Everyone's gonna
You're
be
not
proud
gonna
of
get
you.
kicked out of class.
You're not gonna get kicked out of class, dude. I'm like, I got this.
Yep.
First class, first
dude.
minute, bro. It's all it took. And I would beat myself up every recess and every lunch. Like, man, you haven't been doing good. But then when I left school, it's like I was able to make that somehow. I don't know why. I was just able to make that transition into TAFE and stuff. It
Yeah.
was like I wanted to try, so I told myself I'd do it, and I did it.
Some people are like just not built for work, but they can just do it. Like
Yeah.
it's no issue for them.
Yeah.
Like I find I have a pretty decent work ethic. Like I show up to work and I do this shit. my main reason is if I do more work, time goes quicker and I can go home. Because if I just fuck around all day, the day just goes on forever. And
Yeah.
it's the last place I want to be.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I've had so many conversations with people at work where they're like, oh, if you won the lottery, would you still work? And instantly it's like, fuck no.
Oh,
Not
really?
a chance.
Oh.
I would quit my job that second. I'd call the boss and
But
be
how
like,
much?
sorry,
How
you are
much?
never seeing me again.
But how much is the
Oh.
lotto? Like, what if it was $1 million?
Million's not enough.
No,
not
no.
these days.
What about
Like,
7?
See, I reckon I'd do it for 10.
10, yeah.
10, like I'd probably buy a place, chuck maybe another 4-5 mil into like
Like return
investments,
yeah.
something that can like still have money coming in.
Yeah.
The rest of it, oh man, we having a time. Dude, I'm fucking off to Europe for like a year and just going stupid.
Yeah. Me and Damo always say whenever we used to gamble a lot together, but for me, it's like my biggest thing. Like I can't go gamble. It's like, I love it too much.
Yeah,
I just
okay.
stay away. But when we were gone, we said, if we hit the grand jackpot, we're booking a trip to Thailand. And when we used to go to the casino, if we won one of those Asian machines, we quit our jobs and we go to Thailand with a one-way ticket and we don't come back.
That's cool.
And it was only like a couple 100,000.
I mean, that goes a long way in Thailand, to be honest.
Yeah. And
You
even
make
the
it
grand
last.
jackpot's 20,000. And we're like, even if it was like 11,000, we're like, if we win, we're going to Thailand tonight. We quit our jobs.
I mean, if I got 11 grand right now, I'd call in annual leave.
Yeah,
and,
nice.
and leave for a bit.
Yeah.
Like 11 grand, I could go do a month.
Yeah.
Month or two
Nice.
over there. Buy
Yeah.
my plane tickets. Like I went last year without a return flight.
Nice.
I jumped on it very late, like a month before the trip. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
Jumped on it, bought my one-way ticket, bought a festival ticket over there, didn't buy anything else.
Nice.
So then I got there and I had like 300 hours of annual leave from my last job. So I'm like, you know what? I'll quit that job, get all that annual leave, and then when I come home, I'll just find a new job.
Yeah.
So I quit, got all the annual leave, and got paid out on. So I got to Berlin on a Sunday, and I got paid on the Tuesday.
Wow.
So I had probably about 400 euros to last me from Sunday to Tuesday. Made it fine. It was all good. We didn't really do too much expensive shit, but got to Tuesday and I got that big payout.
Oh.
So like 7.5 came in, but I had to buy my return flights, all my interconnecting flights throughout Europe, my Airbnbs, my hotels. 7.5K turned into 3K.
Oh.
So then I had 3K for the rest of the month, and safe to say, when we got to our last accommodation in Amsterdam, had nothing.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't even afford to pay for public transport because like right before we left. So the last 2 days we had in Europe was spent at Dekmantel in Amsterdam. Massive festival over there. Like honestly, one of the best, probably the best festival I've ever been to.
Wow.
It was insane. And our accommodation was a 2-hour walk from there. We couldn't afford public transport. So we would walk 2 hours to the festival, dance for 8 hours, walk 2 hours back, then do it all again the next day. Our steps were up to like 75,000 steps for one day. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big day.
It was great. I wouldn't have changed anything. Like it would have been nice to get home a little sooner, but it finished early. Like for a European festival, I'm thinking, all right, this shit's going till at least 4 a.m. Nah, finishes at 11 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Like we have festivals here in Sydney that go later than that.
Yeah.
So other than that, fucking blast.
Oh, I would have been dope, bro. I would love to do Europe. I don't know when I'm going to do Europe, but I'd love to do
Europe's great. Like I always wanted to go, and it's hard to like find people who like commit to it because everyone says, yeah, we'll do it. But then actually doing it, no, everyone's like, oh, I don't have the money. I can't do it this year. I'll do it next year. So then when I met my partner, when I met her, she already had this Europe trip planned.
Nice.
And the whole time she was like, yeah, come. And I was just like, oh, you're just saying that. Like, you don't actually mean that. We're still pretty fresh.
Yeah.
And then it got to like a month out and I'm like, oh, like I'm not enjoying this job at the moment. I kind of want to quit. If I quit, like I might as well go to Europe. So went to Europe. Actually, the night that I decided to go to Europe, we had one of her friends who was living in Berlin at the time. They came over back to Sydney for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So we took him out in Sydney and we're like, oh, we'll take you to Sydney clubs. You can see how shit it is compared to over there. So we took him out to the Abercrombie.
Yeah.
And the Abercrombie puts on really good events, but there is no etiquette on that dance floor. Everyone's just shoving you out of the way. Like, it's very fucking annoying. So we stay there till about 5 a.m. We're all in the smokers area, and he just looks at me. He's like, Ethan, you don't deserve this shit. Please come to Berlin. Like, come experience what it's meant to be like. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you've convinced me. I'll come.
I don't deserve this shit.
No,
yeah.
I want to be able to dance and not get my drink spilled all over me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the night. And I was like, yep, I'm definitely going to go. And honestly, the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah,
it was
nice.
fucking awesome.
How long was the trip for?
Just a month.
A month is a long
Yeah,
time.
just a month. It was good. Like, I remember telling my dad about it, and he's like, oh, you're going to get homesick. I'm like, oh, we'll see. Got to the airport in Amsterdam coming home, and I was like, how can I extend this trip? Like, I am not ready to come home at all. Because honestly, so I get to the airport in Amsterdam, and I'm flying through Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked up on Google. I'm like, do I need a visa if I've got a layover in Vietnam? Everywhere I looked was like, nah, if your flight's within 24 hours, you don't need a visa. I'm like, sick, won't get one. Rock up to the airport, and the check-in chick at the gate was like, do you have your visa for Vietnam? And I'm like, no. My flight leaves in 3 hours, and they're like, yeah, you can't get on this flight if you don't have one. And I'm like, well, I have no money, have nowhere to stay, stuck in a random country. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm calling everyone I can. I call mum. My partner's calling her siblings. Like, we're trying to figure out how the fuck am I going to get home?
Yeah.
So I'm freaking out. I'm like thinking, all right, I can probably get $50. Could probably get a bus back to Berlin and stay with some of the people there and just stay there until I figure out how to get home.
Yeah.
Luckily, Claudia's sister comes in clutch, and she sends me $550 to get a visa to Vietnam within 1 hour. So got home all good, and then, was stuck in the hole $550 for a couple of weeks. I didn't have a job when I got back, so I'm like, fuck, how am I going to pay this off?
Yeah.
Found the first job that would take me on, and quickly worked to pay that back, but... yeah, nearly didn't be able to come home.
Damn, that would have been wild being stuck over there, bro.
Oh, it was not a fun time.
Yeah.
I was stressing. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, man. It's my first time, like, overseas proper. Like, I've been to Japan, I've been to Bali, but, like, Europe's a different ballgame.
Yeah. Did you
And,
say
like,
Japan? You
Yeah,
went to
Japan was the first place I went.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's-
mum was going, and she just mentioned it, like, we're on the way to shops. And she's like, I'm going to Japan in a couple of weeks. I'm like, excuse me, you're not going to Japan without me. Like, that's as long as I've known, that's the first place that I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, look, if you can buy your flights, I'll pay for everything else. And I'm like, oh, done deal. So paid for the flights, went there. We spent a couple days in Tokyo and Osaka.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it we spent hiking through the South Mountains.
Mad.
So it's like a good week of just hiking from accommodation to accommodation.
Wow.
It was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'd love to go back and do more of the city because we were hiking for most of it, but either way, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to hit Japan, bro. There's so many places that are on my bucket list. I've got a big holiday in September where we're going to Canada and Alaska.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, very
That'd be
excited.
good. I've
for
always
that.
wanted to do Canada.
Yeah, very excited. I think I've got a week and a half in each. I think.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
time.
I think it's 3-week holiday. But it's mission. Jesus Christ, there's a lot going over there. It's expensive getting flights and stuff because I've only done all the places nearby.
Like
New
surrounding.
Zealand, Fiji.
I really wanna do New
Thailand,
Zealand.
Bali. Like I've been them, and it's like you pay you wouldn't even pay $2,000 usually for a ticket, maybe max. But going that far, you're paying like upwards of 3.5 sometimes.
Is that return at least?
Yeah,
Okay,
return.
Yeah.
But it's also like, man, I don't know. It's gonna take. I think the trip there is like 20 hours. I think.
Oh, dude, coming home took me 35.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
35-hour trip home. But I did Scoot It, which is like the budget of budget
Yeah, I called a
airlines.
Scoot before.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's
It's a bit rough, but
Yeah.
it's cheap, so
Yeah,
I'm happy to do it.
yeah. And to be honest, I got good seats when I went on Scoot because I was up front of plane. Like I was like real good, nice open foot room. It was
Like
mad.
the extra leg room.
Yeah. You know, it was a nice flight because I just did Thailand again. We actually went away for Pat's Bucks party.
I saw a post about that. That looked great.
Yeah, that was really nice. There was 9 of us that went on that. That was a
That's a
great
good
holiday.
group.
Yeah, it was fun. Like it was half of us it was tame, half of us it was really wild.
I could see that happening.
Yeah. I was on the tame side of things.
You're on the
so-
tame side of things.
Yeah, dude, I've changed a lot.
The
man.
wild days are over.
The wild days are over. I've almost been sober for 18 months.
Holy shit, good on you, man.
so
That's awesome.
My days are over. But I'm still, fuck you boys, I'm still the last one up every night.
That's what I want to see, even from
Yeah.
the sober ones. Like, just still party, man.
Yeah.
You don't have to use shit to have fun. Just
Yeah.
like I've gone out for sober nights and they've been awesome. Like
Yeah.
my first night out after getting back from Europe, my mate called me and he's like, dude, there's this warehouse party on in Marrickfield. Do you want to come? And I'm like, oh, look, I'm pretty stint after Europe. And he's like, dude, I'll buy you a ticket right now. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Went there. It was awesome, man. Like the guy who was playing just blew my mind.
Yeah,
it was
nice.
so much fun. And yeah, we were sober, stayed out till like 5 a.m. and then we're like, all right, let's drive home now because we can.
Yeah.
The best part about being sober is you're like,
Yeah.
we don't have to like get an Uber or catch public transport, just drive home.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I love the fact that I can drive. Tell you what, I can see out the corner of my eye. I'm just going to move my camera a little bit. The couple points I went down, I want to try and catch up to where we stopped, but I'll go back to the Japan point first. You know, do you remember the kid that went to school with Alexander Johnson?
Do I remember Alexander Johnson? Yes.
Yes, I did a podcast with him.
I saw that as well.
Dude, he is like a Japanese white guy. Like
Yeah.
he taught himself how to speak Japanese.
Really? He speaks Japanese?
Yeah, he can write it, he can speak it, he can read it.
That's impressive.
And he went to uni for it and stuff as well because he's just fascinated so much by it. So
Yeah,
he
okay.
I don't know if he said he's definitely been once. I think he said he's been a couple times. He's looking to go again. But he just goes there and then just like speaks Japanese,
That's
bro.
sick. Like that was probably the hardest part of Japan is like maneuvering around the language barrier. I was with my mum, so thank God she took the reins on that one. I just sat in the corner. I'm like, tell me where to go, and I'll go do that.
Yeah,
I don't have to
yeah.
hold the fort down at
I'd be
all.
like, ramen? Yeah, please?
Very easy to find.
Ramen.
That's the first thing we did when
Hungry.
we landed in Tokyo.
Yeah, good. That would be the first thing I do too. And what I was going to get at too was when you said it was a 30-hour trip, what we did when we went to this Thailand trip, it was a nice surprise for Pat. We all like surprised him at the airport, ripped the bag off his head, was like, we're going to Thailand, made him wear a dress and shit for the day.
I saw,
It was great. It was great fun. But then when we said going to Thailand, everyone's like, yeah, Thailand, Thailand. We're all pumped up. And then I go to check in and it's not working on the machine. So we go ask for help. And they say, there's no flights to Thailand today. And I say, look at my email. I'm like, it's definitely now. It says it's in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, there's one that left this morning. They checked the flight numbers. It was that flight. So now we're all just at the airport, like
Oh shit!
absolutely butthurt. You know what I mean?
What did you do?
Oh man, it was like being in the. As a comedy aspect, I relate it to being in war. I'm not saying it was like being in war. Right?
Let's just get that one out there. It's not the same.
It's not the same. But it was like, explosions in my ears. Everyone's just talking. And I'm like, I had to just walk away, sort out 9 tickets. And then we were told if we catch it to Malaysia where our interconnecting flight was, we can jump on that flight.
Okay.
So we get there. That flight's been delayed. So we're lucky. We go to check in and we're not allowed to catch that flight because we didn't catch the first flight. We had our seat numbers, everything
What?
ready. They had the seats available, but they couldn't even cancel our flights and let us repurchase them.
So
Like-
you had to pay like twice.
We had to wait another, I don't know how long we were there for, 8 hours or something, to then catch another flight to take us back to Singapore, to then go from Singapore to Thailand.
Jeez, okay,
That
my trip home doesn't sound that bad now.
That trip was like 36 hours or something crazy as well. And by the time we got to Thailand, everyone's like, oh, I don't even care where we are at this point. Like, I'm just glad we're not on a plane.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. We don't even have to be in Thailand right now. Just give me a bed so I can go to bed
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, it was long. Like, it was major. But Malaysia Air was one of the flights we caught. That was probably the best flight I've ever caught, to be honest. Malaysia Air. It was
Like
really
in terms
nice.
of comfortability and
Comfortability, it was actually reasonably cheap compared to what a flight could
Okay.
have been, because that was our last minute flight we had to purchase from Sydney. And you had they bring us blankets and pillows and
Oh,
they had the
yeah.
screens and
Yeah, I had
for
the
an Asian
same.
flight, that's pretty good, you know?
I had the same on my way home. My first flight was with Qatar. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were fantastic, man. Because going from Scoot, I brought my laptop just so I could watch shit on the plane because
Yeah,
I knew
good
there was
idea.
no entertainment on Scoot.
Yeah.
Then got onto Qatar coming home, and my God, they had just so many movies. They got 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
They gave me a blanket and a little pillow. It was great.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it, dude. I love a good flight. You know what I
I
mean?
hate flying.
Really?
Like, I'm not like scared of it, but it's just I hate being uncomfortable for that long. Like it sucks.
Dude, I gotta be honest, I vaped the entire time. I couldn't do it.
Oh, I went to the bathroom and
Yeah, I
was
did it in my
constantly hitting
seat.
You did it in your seat.
I couldn't do it, bro. Like,
I did not have the balls to do that. I just went to the bathroom like 20 times over the flight.
Yeah.
Like people thought there was probably something really wrong with my bowels, but no, I was just going in there for a chuff.
Yeah. We had between the nights, we probably had 15 packets of Zins as well. We probably went through them. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's actually not a bad option for flights. If you
Yeah.
can't vape or smoke, that's. I think I'm going to do that next flight.
Yeah, it actually helped a lot.
Yeah.
Helped a lot. It's not the same, but it wasn't too bad. But yeah, when they gave us the blanket, I just burritoed myself, bro, and
Yep.
just sat underneath it like an igloo, bro. And I baked the whole time. Yeah, it was good. Honestly, I like what keeps me going on the plane is reading. If I just set myself a challenge, yeah.
100%. So I've like read all the Game of Thrones books already, but
Wow.
then I was like, all right, I'm going on a long flight. I'm going to need a big book. So fuck it, I'll start reading them again.
Nice.
Grabbed the first one. Think I got like, by the end of the trip, a bit over 3/4 of the way through it.
Wow.
Came back and finished off the rest within like a week.
Nice.
And
nice.
now I'm hooked again, so I got to finish them all off.
Yeah. How's it reading a book twice? I've never read a book twice.
You forget a lot of things, so it's like you remember all the big plot points, but all the little intricate stuff, like I don't remember that. My memory's not the greatest. I was a bit of a fucking idiot when I was a teenager,
Yeah.
so my memory's probably a little bit shot.
Yeah.
But so it's nice to go back and read that.
Yeah.
Like that's what, like, because I struggle to find, trust new books as well, because I've like started a new book and like 10 pages in, I'm like, oh fuck this, I don't want to read this. I'm not enjoying it. So it's nice to go back to. It's like having your favorite show that you always go back and watch again.
Yeah.
Like
okay. How I Met Your Mother?
I'm off How I Met Your Mother now.
No.
I'm a Friends guy now.
Oh, you can have both. Bro,
I know, but
you
like-
can't say you're off How I Met Your Mother. Like,
The jokes don't hit the same way they used to.
Oh,
yeah, I remember rewatching it. And I'm like, I used to think this was really funny.
Yeah.
This one's not hitting like it used to. But then I go back and watch Friends, and I'm in tears. Like,
Really?
oh, that shit cracks me up.
Friends is great. Don't get me wrong, bro. But How I Met Your Mother is art. You know what I mean? It's
Have you
art.
like? When was the last time you watched Friends the whole way through?
The whole way through, not for a while, but I do watch it a lot. Like, it's
Yeah.
always on. It's always on.
Yeah, no, I remember when like you and I were hanging out heaps. It was always How I Met Your Mother's the best.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the night that ruined How I Met Your Mother for me is we went to Touch Base like 6-7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We all went back to my friend's house and we were all kicking on, and it got to like everyone had left. It was just me and like 3 other people, and we're like, you want to watch something? So we chucked on How I Met Your Mother and watched How I Met Your Mother for about 5 hours.
Yeah.
As soon as that 5 hours was done, I'm like, I'm never watching this show again. I cannot handle it. It is, I can't do it. I watch way too much of it in one sitting, and I just never want to see it again.
Yeah. Dude, I remember tripping a couple times watching How I Met Your Mother, and I really looked at Marshall like a psychopath. I remember like it changed it forever for me. Like, he's just a crazy man. Like,
Marshall's
walking
the best
around.
thing about that show.
He's the best, trust
Yeah.
me. But he's a psychopath, bro. He walks around like and I remember looking at Lily and thinking to myself, like, oh, she's really dumb. You know what I mean? Like, it just changes it. It just changes.
I feel like that's also just a bit of an age thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you grow up and your brain develops a little bit more, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, these people are
Oh,
kind of interesting. Like looking back on Friends, most of it, like, fucking Ross he's a psychopath.
oh, he's a psychopath.
He's
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I remember thinking he was kind of funny, and then I look back on him and I'm like, oh, he's got some deep-rooted issues that he needs to figure out.
Yeah.
And,
I think that too.
fucking, what's her name?
What about Phoebe? The
Love Phoebe. Phoebe's always
also
great.
a psychopath. You
No,
know
but
what I
in the
mean?
best way.
Yeah.
In the best way. She's so funny. She's so
she-
wholesome.
Yeah. But
Chandler's
she's
the
a deep
best, though.
psycho. Chandler's my favorite.
Yeah,
Chandler's always
hands
been my
down. He's
favourite.
just funny, and he has that whole self-deprecating thing,
Yeah.
which I find fucking hilarious.
yeah.
I'm like, yes, let's all just shit on ourselves.
Yeah. I heard that the Matthew Perry book is a really, really good book.
I'd love to read it, because that's
Yeah.
what actually put me back onto Friends after his passing. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That sucks. I remember waking up, and my partner and my roommate were chatting, and I was like, guys, sorry to interrupt you, but Chandler just died. And they all just looked at me like, what?
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, all right, time to rewatch this shit again. And then got
I should
stuck
do
on
that.
it.
I should do that. I should rewatch Friends from start to finish. I've just been pumping out Big Bang Theory over and over again. I've watched.
That's
The
one show I
Office.
could never get into.
Oh, it's so good.
I liked it when I was in high school,
Yeah.
a bit younger, and then because my roommate loves it, and he had it on for a bit, and I was just like, this isn't funny to me.
Oh,
It's not funny to me.
it cracks me up, bro. Like, not all the time. It's like, it's not as bad as like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but even that
I love
cracks me
Brooklyn
up.
Nine-Nine.
Yeah, that's great.
I've watched that shit so many times.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny. It's so dumb, but it's
Yeah.
so funny.
I'm in the process of that again.
And it's like very wholesome.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
just
Just
no
giggles.
one's getting shat on. It's just like, let's just have a laugh.
Yeah.
It makes being a cop look fun.
It does.
It's the same
doesn't
with like Even did you ever watch Suits?
Yeah.
That makes being a lawyer look fun as fuck.
I watch Suits and I'm like,
I could do this.
Yeah. I'm Harvey.
Yeah. Even The Office, it's like, oh, let's work an office job. And then you work an office job and you're like, oh, this is soul sucking. Let's get out of this place.
Yeah. The Office had its reign on me for a couple of years in a row. I had to break that habit. The Office was so addicting. Like, I could not stop watching it.
I was like more into Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec is
Parks
great.
and Rec was like, because it's like very similar in that awkward kind of humor.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec just did it for me. Like I wish that I need to go back and rewatch that because that was so
Is
funny.
that girl Aubrey Plaza?
I love her.
She's a champion.
And she just plays herself.
Yeah.
Like in all the interviews
and
she's done.
in The Office too. She's Karen.
No,
it's not.
I'd say I haven't even watched
I'm
The
thinking
Office the
of
whole way through.
I'm thinking of Karen from someone else. I was thinking of the wrong girl. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
like
right.
The Office is the one that I just have not. I haven't even watched it the whole way through. I haven't finished it.
Yeah.
I just like
You haven't
I like it
finished
for
it?
a couple episodes, and I'm like, I don't really watch
Okay.
this anymore.
Because Karen's also in Protect Our Parks as well. Not Protect Our Parks, Parks and Recreation. She's
I do
also
like
in
Protect Our Parks though.
Protect Our
Yeah, it's always fun.
Bro, speaking of Protect Our Parks, there's up to 11 just came out.
I
the
saw
other
that.
day.
I haven't watched it in ages. Like,
I watched up to 8, and then I went back and I started Joe Rogan from episode 1. So I haven't watched any episodes since Protect Our Parks 8. I haven't watched any new
I
episodes.
have another 3 to catch up on.
I haven't watched any Joe Rogan.
I haven't watched Joe Rogan for
Yeah.
over a year now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I reckon. No, just under a year. Because I pumped it at work. Because like I just had free reign on my speaker. I had my own little station, so music, podcasts the whole day. I just have so much time, and I'm like, I'll sit down and listen to a 3.5 hour podcast.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't get to listen to music at work anymore. So when I do like have my time at home and my time going to work, it's always music because I fucking love music. And if I can't listen to 8 hours a day, I'm not going to be happy. So I don't have time for podcasts anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I don't have time for music anymore. I don't listen to music, eh?
I love music.
People give me the aux. I'm like, I like the new MGK song.
That's as far as it goes.
Yeah. Like, I know some country as well. Yeah.
I'm constantly like just deep digging for new tracks.
Oh.
Always. Like, I reckon I'll spend like a solid hour every week just scrolling, trying to find new tracks.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet you have some big playlists, bro.
I'm not a playlist guy.
Oh, really?
No, I don't. Like, I do a little bit of DJing, but I don't make playlists.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I just have everything in the one folder, and I'll just be like, yeah, we'll listen to this right now. We'll put this one on.
Oh, I'm liking the segue, dude, because the DJ was something that I was excited to get to. I want to know how the whole world started for you in the beginning. Like, how did you get into that?
Well, so as long, like, I don't know, ever since I was a kid, music was always my main thing. Couldn't fucking play anything though. Like, can't sing, can't play any instruments. I played saxophone for like half a year at school.
Yeah.
And then like at that age, I was like, fuck this. Looking back on it, I'm like, I should have stuck with that.
Yeah, I could have been like Lisa Simpson, right? Yeah.
Being able to just break out the saxophone and jam out a funky jazz tune, that would be awesome.
That would be
But,
awesome, mate.
yeah, it didn't happen. Like, I don't know. I got preoccupied with other things.
Yeah.
Didn't think it was interesting. But so like, I've always been into music. I had my little hardcore stints, which, look, I'm still a hardcore kid at heart, but massively so in high school. It was always metal and hardcore music. Then going clubbing for the first time and experiencing electronic music live. As soon as that happened, I was like, okay, there's something about this. And so it was a lot of just going out all the time and wanting to do it, but never doing it. You know how like people are just like, yeah, I want to do that, but they never make the push to actually do it.
Yeah.
So that happened for a bit. And then, I don't know, I was working a job. I was making pretty decent money. I was going to a lot of festivals. And when like I'm at these festivals, I see them doing it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just amazing. Like, they're just giving everybody the best time. Because like some of the best times in my life have been on a dance floor.
Yeah.
And still to this day, like every festival I go to, there's always one set of the night where I'm just like, nothing beats that.
Yeah.
Like the feeling. And that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to, make people feel the same way that I've felt, which is just so euphoric on that dance floor. Like there's nothing can beat it.
Yeah.
So
Sorry to cut you off, but I do this a
that's
lot.
okay.
I find that is a special kind of person to have that mindset too, and that's actually the same reason I started podcasting, because I looked at the act of consuming as opposed to contributing, and it's like, if I'm so grateful to have all these things to listen to, why don't I do that and just at least do the same
100%. Like, and it's great because I don't need to be like, don't get me wrong, these DJs and these producers, they are extremely talented. Like the technique that some of them have, like over New Year's Eve, I saw Carl Cox play, and the way that man mixes in everything, it's flawless. It is so masterful, and like from a technical point of view, it's just mind blowing. So they are very talented, but you don't have to be musically gifted to start doing it. You just got to start doing it, and you're gonna suck at the start. Like you're not gonna be good, and that's why it was hard for me to be consistent with it, because I jump on, have no fucking idea what I'm doing, and be like, fuck this, I'm not gonna do this anymore. But if you just keep at it, you get a little bit better each time, and then you get a hang of things, and that's when my love for it really like started, when I was like competent enough to actually mix into another song and it sound good. So once that happened, I was hooked. I was like, yeah, this stuff is so much fun.
Yeah, that's mad. I love that's such a secret to the universe that a lot of people don't understand, and it's that you're not gonna like most things you do until you start to get at least okay at it.
100%.
And
because
then
like,
you just
no one wants to suck.
catapult.
Yeah, I remember the first couple months of doing it, I was like, maybe this was just in my head and I don't actually like this. Maybe I just wanted to be like the DJs and stuff. But then like you get good at it. Well, like not good.
Better at it.
You get better at it, and you're like, oh, okay, this is actually really fun. And then like sitting in your bedroom and you do a nice transition and you're like, oh, yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
So it kind of just took off from there. And then obviously I'm surrounded myself with a lot of people who share that same interest. Like I have a lot of very talented friends. So being around that all the time, it kind of motivates you a bit more. Like you see them doing well and you're like, I want to do that as well. Like I'm going to, like every time that I go to a festival or like go to a mate's event and I see them doing it, the first thing I want to do when I get home is jump on the decks and start mixing myself.
Mad. That's so sick, bro. That's so sick. I have no idea at all about the entire scene of mixing, DJing, gigs.
It's, honestly, once you like understand it, it's quite simple. Like I'm sure everybody says that about everything.
That's true.
If you know what you're doing, it seems simple to you. But like once I understood it, I'm like, it's not actually that hard. Just like don't let the vocals clash. But like even some people pull it off sometimes. They'll let those vocals clash and it'll sound really nice.
Yeah.
And when I try and do it, it's just a lot of cat screeching.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, invite me into this world. And I love the positive feedback loop about doing it and kind of enjoying it. Then you start doing it, you're not enjoying it, but then you start to enjoy it more because you're getting better at it, and then you want to do it more, and then you get better at it, so you enjoy it more, then you want to do it more.
That's all it is. It's a snowball.
Oh, dude.
You just keep going deeper and deeper into it. And where it really kicks off, like where my kind of like little bit of obsession with it was after I played in front of people for the first time.
Yeah.
There is no high like that.
Really?
That the feeling after coming off the decks in front of people, you don't want it to end.
Oh.
Like every time I've come off, I'm like, I want to go back up there. I was having a lot of fun.
You're like, oh God.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not even mixing for everybody else. I'm like, it started off, I want to make people dance. And now it's like, I just want to do it. Like it's all about me now. Like I just want to listen to good tunes. I don't care if you guys like it. I'm enjoying this, so I'm going to keep playing.
That's so sick, bro. It reminds me of someone said on the podcast to me once before. We're talking about the gym, and he says, you look good, then you feel good, then you look better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. Life is so interesting like that. I look at everything like it's rinse and repeat. It's just the same method. It's not mythology. Method. It's the same method being implicated into every single thing that could possibly exist. You know what I mean? It's all the same kind of thing with stay consistent, dedicated, things like that.
All it is consistency.
Yeah.
And like I still struggle with that sometimes. Like if I've got a show coming up, I'm like the consistency's there. Like every day as soon as I get home from work, on the decks for at least 2 hours.
Yeah,
like just
nice.
pumping it out. When I've got nothing going on, then it's like, I don't need to mix today, which kind of sucks. But then like I'll get random bursts where like I'll be at work and be like, when I get home, I'm going to jump on and just do it. Like I was at work the other day and just got this wave. And this happens a lot and it's very frustrating. You get this wave and you really want to do it and then you go start doing it. And it's just, for some reason that day, it's not gelling. Like the mix is not mixing.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's really annoying because like you've planned everything out in your head and you're like, all right, I'll go from this song into this song and then try and transition to that one. then you try and pull it off and it just doesn't work and it pisses me off.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I bet.
why? It sounded so good in my head and now I'm doing it and it does not sound good.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's crazy. But it's also hard too because when you do get that boost of motivation, then you have to hold on to that.
Yeah, well,
Like it's fleeting.
that's
bro.
where the consistency comes in. Like, I feel like I'm at the point now where it's like, just do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to, you might be a little tired. You'll go to bed later. It's fine. Like, just do it. And then a lot of the time that I do, like, not want to do it and then I jump on, 10 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, all right, this is fun.
Yeah,
This is cool
yeah.
now.
I just tell myself because I have a lot of those things in my life where I enjoy doing it. One major example for me is editing. When it comes to doing the podcast.
Oh, yeah, that could
It's
be.
just- it's
a
my
bit
job.
Tedious.
Yeah, it's long. It's a process. You got to sit down. I enjoy doing it when I'm doing it because like I get to re-listen to everything we talked about, re-educate again. Like it's kind of a little bit of like arts and craft in a way too because I get to put a bit of expression into how I want it to look and sound. And it's not much, but even increasing volumes in certain levels of conversation can actually I can. Because at the end of the day, when you just watch two people talk, you're kind of just watching it. But when you're in a conversation like this, and then I can go back and edit it, I can emphasize how I was feeling. And I remember seeing how you were reacting, so I can keep the camera on you for longer than to cut back to me at the right. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit of a game, you know, and it's like it's not even anything at the end of the day, but personally it is. But then before I get into it, I'm like, don't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
This sucks. Especially in the beginning, I was like, man, I could rather be doing anything else
Yeah.
other than sit down and do that.
Especially like, for instance, if you come back from work, the last thing you want to do is start doing something. You just want
Yeah.
to chill out. Well, I
Yeah.
do anyway. I get fucking dead at work, and then obviously by the time you get home, you just want to shower and fucking lie down.
Yeah,
but
bro,
that's where it comes in. It's like, all right, look, you've said you've wanted to do this. Don't pussyfoot around it now. Like, do it.
Yeah. I just tell myself like this is what I'm doing. Like this is my job.
Yeah,
I have no choice. Like it's like
that's a good way to look at it.
yeah.
As long as like, well, I know for me, obviously, because I fucking hate work, I don't like to think of it as my job.
Yeah.
It's definitely like I am by no means anywhere with this. This is still very strictly bedroom DJing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm not getting booked by clubs. I'm not doing anything. This is just like I have a lot of friends who are putting on their own events, and then because they know that I enjoy it, they're like, oh well, you come out and like
nice.
open it up or
I feel like that's how it always just
yeah.
starts anyway.
And I've there's been a few times where, because like my friend, she owns a bar in the CBD. Very cool place. All the viewers, if you're ever in the CBD, go to Pappy's Bar. It's fucking awesome.
No, link in the description.
But no, so we would hire that place out for a night, and
Do you know that's the second time I've put Pappy's Bar in the description? It's the start of the podcast. I don't know when else I've done it, but if anyone listening can remind me, I have linked it for some reason.
it's a great
before.
place, and my friend owns it, so it's really nice to go give her the business as
Yeah,
well.
nice.
But we pretty much transformed the whole basement into like a little club setup. So we have the DJ decks like kind of in the middle. Everyone's dancing around. It spills out onto the street. First time I ever played was at there for my friends. They're doing really well in like the Sydney tech house scene. So they're doing really well, and they had a single release party. So they're like, oh, Ethan, we'll get you to open up for everybody like you just started. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Rocked up, never been so nervous in my life.
Yeah.
Like I got there, my friend Dylan looks at me and he's like, "Ooh, you're nervous, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Dude, someone get me a fucking drink and a cigarette. Like I need to chill out before this starts."
Yeah.
And then we're all like setting it up, and then people start to roll in. It gets to 6 o'clock, and my mate's like, "All right, it's go time." So I jump up, chuck my USB in the decks, and on the decks you have like the little screen where you have the two waveforms of the song showing up, so you can like beat match and make it all sync up.
Nice.
Chucked my USB in, and that wasn't showing up.
Oh,
So I'm already nervous, see that, and I'm like, how am I going to do this? Like, I'm going to have to do everything by ear. I'm not talented enough to do everything by ear. I'm going to fuck this up so badly. And the guy who organized it, my friend Max, he looks at me and he's like, nah, you'll be fine. Just start and you'll get into it. And I'm at the point where I'm like this close to pulling the pin. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, this is my first time. I'm not going through like this. He starts the song for me, so I'm like, oh, it's already started. Fuck it. I'll just keep it going. So it was definitely rocky.
yeah.
But it turned out a lot better than I thought it was. Like, there was definitely some choppy transitions. Like, I finished that set. I'm like, look, I'm glad I did that. It was a lot of fun. Probably wouldn't upload that one to SoundCloud,
Yeah.
but it was good. And so I'm really glad for my first, time playing in front of people, the worst thing happens.
Yeah.
So everything after is a piece of cake now.
Nice.
And both the other times I've played, it's been easy. Like the last time that I did was actually at Pappy's again, and oh my God, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was nearly flawless. Like I think I fucked up maybe once or twice. One of them was quite a big fuck up, and it was also a fuck up at the point that I was most excited for people to hear.
Yeah.
And I fucked it up, and I was like, oh, God damn it, that would have been so sick if I pulled that off. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was another moment where you get off and you're just like, can we not let the other person on? I'll just keep playing for another hour.
Yeah. That's so dope, bro. Oh, God, I love that. It's funny when you were saying how you were feeling nervous to go on. I'm really finding a massive relation between nerves and excitement. And someone came on and told me on the podcast that it's actually the same symptoms that your body will feel in both scenarios. Your body goes through the exact same protocol when you're both nervous and excited.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because before every festival I go to, you get pre-festival jitters. Like you get this feeling in your stomach. You're like, oh shit, like is getting through security going to go all well? Like is it going to be fun? Like is it going to be a letdown? Blah, blah, blah. But you're just so excited for it. And once you get through those doors, you're like,
Yeah.
all right, we're on camp set up. The drinks are flowing now. Like everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
We're on.
Oh, dude, I'm going to put a pin in these festivals because I'm so interested in them. But there's a couple other pins I want to get to first.
Hit your pins.
One was when you were saying when you have a gig coming up and you're always on the decks ready to go. You know what I mean? Let's just call it weeks leading up to it.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm giving myself the consistency and the dedication to doing it. There's someone recently came on and told me on the podcast, Daniel Dupree's, great episode for anyone who hasn't watched that, Swapcast 8, click the link in the description. He was explaining to me that there's two different types of stress that have been defined. One's called eustress, and eustress is like, a lot of people can tap into it. And I remember hearing a podcast about the author Robert Greene, who's like one of my favorite authors ever. He writes like Laws of Human Nature and the 49 Laws of Power and Mastery and all these mad books about just life. And he was saying that when he has a deadline, he will produce some of the best stuff he's ever produced in his life. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause he's just in this weird zone because there's a time frame, and he always thought it was stress leading him up to it, but it's actually a different thing that we are all considering to be stress. It's like when I haven't got an episode out for the week, someone will come over on the Sunday and I'll have to record it, edit it, post it, and get it out for that night.
Jeez.
It's like you enter this weird moment of stress, but it's like if you really sit in it, you're like, it's not stress. This is like it's like the Force, bro. Like I'm entering this wave.
It's like back to the nerves, excitement. It's not stress. You're just excited for it, and you want to be prepared.
Yeah.
Like because like, look, everybody fucks up. Like, and I say that with mixing. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times that I've gone to see big time producers play, and they fuck up.
Yeah.
And they fuck up. Like some of them have fucked up pretty bad. And then at the end of the day, like, dude, we're all just doing our thing. Like, everyone fucks up.
Yeah.
So it also helps, like, humanize them a little bit. Like, they're not this big, oh my God, look, they're right there. It's like, they're just a person. They're just a person doing stuff.
Yeah.
Which also, like, helps me think, like, oh, if they're just a person doing it, why can't I just be a person doing it?
Yeah, that's what they are. They're just us.
Just people, yeah. Yeah, no one's, like, this big glorified, godlike thing.
Yeah.
We're all just doing what we can.
I just like looking at the experience. That's all I look at when I look at someone who's better than me at anything. I just look at the fact that they've been doing it for longer.
Yeah.
There might be some natural talents hidden within that.
There's some people that were just born for shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you look at them and you're like, oh, they've been doing this for a year, but you could have convinced me they've been doing it for 10.
Yeah. It's like you mentioned before, your best mate and his twin. I know that you're talking about the Saunders. I had Josh Saunder come on a couple of times on the pod.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And thank you for watching. Anyway, he was saying in his one, like, what was I getting at? He was saying, I asked him, do you think anyone would have been able to do what you've done? Like, if you just told them how to do it, the way you did it, is it possible? And he's like, honestly, no. There are a lot of things that come from genetics and like things like that.
He's a different animal.
He's built different.
Oh, dude, I fucking love that, man.
He sat down on this couch and I'm like, is it big enough? Like, is that couch big enough for you or what? But he also explained the fact that he spent, say, call it 10 years working on mental psychology and preparation. He did sport for like another 6 years before that.
Well, he was in reserves for the bunnies.
Yeah. So it is experience that has led him to get there, but natural born talent can also come into play with a lot of things at the same time. But I believe no matter what, that with enough experience, you can be at least one of the greats. You don't have to be the best in the world, but you can be one of the greats in anything.
If you put your mind to anything, like it's so cliche to say, like, oh, if you put your mind to anything, you can do anything.
Yeah.
But like, and you probably can't do anything. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, you know what, you could be the prime minister if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Not that, I mean, I fucking wouldn't want to do that job. That looks like hell, to be honest.
Yeah.
But if you're really into something and you really love it, you will find a way to make it work.
I believe so too. And I have to steal this quote from Andrew Tate because he said it, which has been something I've been saying for a very long time on the pod, but the way he alliterated it was there's a secret in the universe that people don't understand. And that's if you really want something, the universe will give it to you. Like if you try your hardest and you do not quit, you will succeed. Like you may not become number one, but you'll be right there with them. You know what I mean?
I never believe in becoming number one.
I struggle with that idea too.
Like, maybe I don't care enough. I don't want to be the best.
Yeah.
I just want to be the best that I can be.
Yeah. I think the singularity is a concept I'm always trying to play off is like becoming number one. It's almost like you can't even really become number one. You may be able to have the taste at being number one if you're going to try and measure something against certain metrics for a small window. That's the best you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's always someone better.
Yeah, always.
There's always someone. There's 8 fucking billion people on this world.
And counting.
Yeah, it's just going up. So it's naive
Someone
to think
better than
I can
me
be
just
the best.
got born.
100%.
Yeah,
they're just not better than me yet.
Yeah,
they will be.
At literally everything I've done in my whole life,
100%.
someone being born right now is better than me at them.
So I try not to think too much about other people. Like it's like I've never experienced it, but I've heard of like, especially within the music scene, lots of DJs and producers, they see like people around them doing better than them, and then they start to get jealous and resentful. It's like, why? If people are doing well, all that does is benefit the scene.
Yeah.
We want everyone to do well.
That's so true. And Joe Rogan uses it and describes it in a way of like a lot of comedians back in the day, and to be honest, Joe Rogan kind of set the precedent for it. They all felt like they were fighting over the one pie. There wasn't enough pieces left for everyone.
It's a big pie, man.
Yeah, bro.
It's
the
a
pie
big
is
pie.
infinite.
Yeah.
Pie is literally an infinite number.
We don't need to be fighting with it. Like anytime that I see, like I'll go back to my friends being talented because fuck me, they're talented. It's so good to see. And every time I see them, like I have a friend who just dropped his first EP. And after hearing that, I was just so stoked for him. Like I was like, dude, firstly, this is fucking sick. Like it was such a good EP. The songs were awesome. Very well produced. Like he's done his own synths on them and everything. So it's really nice. And he's just like the most lovely dude ever. So seeing him be able to do that, very good. Like obviously there's times where I see people and they're doing really well. I'm like, oh, I want to do that. But it's not like jealousy. It's just admiration. It's just like, oh, you're doing great. I'm going to come up there and join you.
Yeah. That's such a good way to look at every part of life, bro. Jealousy, I feel like it's important in a way if you feel like it's obviously there for a reason. I am always struggling to figure out why we have all of our emotions, but I feel like jealousy is almost like territorial, which it's like we've used jealousy in a way to describe a feeling in which you think that you already have something and you don't want to lose it, but it's like the other way around. You know what I mean? You haven't got it yet, and you don't want to miss out on your chance to get it. You know, it's kind of like a territorial thing, which again can be a good thing. You want to make sure that the people you care about are all sweet and safe, and I fucking bought this home. I want to make sure that no one comes and takes it. You know, things like that. But jealousy as an overall feeling is so useless because
such an ugly thing. Like I see people who just show jealousy, and I'm like, yeah, it's like the cliche. It's not a good look on anybody.
Nah,
it's not a good look,
it's
man.
not.
Just stay in your own lane. Not stay in your own lane, but like just keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully, if you just stick at it, what you want will come.
Yeah, I believe it, and I've had arguments on the podcast before, but I truly believe in my spirit that the universe will give you whatever you want. You just have to really want it. You know what I mean? Like if you're not going to chase the thing, that's not what you want, and the universe will give you what you want.
It's not just about wanting it, because you can want whatever you want. You don't do anything about it, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah,
like,
and want's not a strong enough word, because like I'm talking about like desire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you might not even know what you want. The universe will give you what you want. Eventually, you get to a point in which you'll be like, oh my gosh, like I'm content. You know what I mean? I might have been struggling a year ago, but now I'm in a position where I'm actually comfortable.
Yeah, well, your wants change as well.
Yeah.
Like, what I wanted in high school is, more or less kind of the same, to be in music, but the music scene has changed a lot from what I wanted in high school. Like, it was all metal, hardcore music, which I still love. Like, I'm still going to the shows where I can, but that's not my main thing anymore. Like, it's just moved strictly into the whole techno, hard groove kind of scene, which... It's so much fun.
I've just got no idea about the whole scene. But no matter what, you're going to get better if you consist at it. No matter what, you know what I mean? Like, so you may as well just keep doing it.
100%.
Any task, anything you're doing, if you do it every day, you're going to be great at it.
Yeah.
What do they say, 10,000 hours? You know what I mean? I reckon you can do it in 5 if you really want it.
Yeah, if you try hard enough.
Yeah. Yeah. But I had a couple of questions about the DJing thing that you sparked interest on. When you're mixing any type of music, so let's just call it something that someone's released, and then is this kind of what you do? Then you mix that, and you kind of transition into something else that's been released.
Yeah.
That's been done?
I've like dabbled around the whole production process with like making your own stuff. It's very hard. I mean, I'm sure it's one of those things that once you get it, but I'm not at that stage yet. Like, I will jump on and then get frustrated because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I'll spend countless time watching videos and then try and put that into action. Like, there was times I'd have a YouTube video up on one screen, and then they'd do something, I'd pause it and then do it.
Yeah.
And then I'd click again and they'd start doing it again, and I'd pause it and then like try and do it. And even then it doesn't come out the same.
Yeah.
But, so I've tried to dabble, but at the moment, it's just mixing other people's work into other people's work.
And what I'm curious about is it, because I know that's kind of like DJing is in my head anyway. I don't really understand. I'm not as far deep in thinking about the fact of creating the whole process from the beginning. I don't even understand. I've kind of seen Fruit Loop Studio 9. I kind of know from back when I was like 10 how it's done, but is it hard to go to mix something and not copy what you think's already been done based on what you've listened to other people do? Is that a hard thing to avoid?
Well, with the music that I'm mixing, it's like a very constant beat. So pretty much just sync the beats up, and it's gonna sound similar to what everyone else is doing because that's just how you do it. Like, I mean, there's some people who, when they're mixing, they have crazy techniques of making. Like, they'll layer. Like, sometimes you have your decks, and there'll be like the 4-channel decks where you can have 4 songs going at once, and they can play that all at the same time and make it sound really good.
Crazy.
I haven't tried my hat at that one yet. I don't have the decks for it. I have very, very basic DJ decks. I actually need to upgrade at the moment once I get a bit more cash, because it's a very expensive hobby.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. The decks I want, I think about like retail 2.7.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's a lot of money, but so it's always gonna sound similar. The main thing about DJing is track selection.
Yeah.
Like, just get your tracks in order, know what you're going to play. Or you don't even have to know what you play. Just get good tracks.
Yeah.
Get good tracks. It's always good to have, like, crowd favorites that everyone loves. But what I love about, especially when I go out and I see somebody, when they're playing shit that I've never heard before, and then I obsess over that. I'm like, all right, I need to go home and find that song.
Yeah.
Like, I've got Shazam on my homepage. Like, when you scroll down and you have, like, the camera and the low power save. I got Shazam there, so I can just scroll down and quickly try and get it. I'll always be that one dickhead at the club just with his Shazam out, like, give me that song.
Yeah. Does it ever get to a stage where anyone ever notices that other people are trying to be the same as other people, or is it everyone's kind of familiar with the fact that it's different? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think anyone's trying. It's hard to be the same, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not hard to be the same because it's very clear cut. Like, you're taking other people's tracks and you're just mixing them in. The only thing that changes is the songs that people play.
Yeah.
Now, there are people who will just play the same shit that they've heard. Like they'll hear one transition and be like, yeah, that one works. I'll just steal that.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I mean, if that's what you want to play, go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care as long as it sounds good.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's much of a whole club. Now, when you get into the production side of making your own stuff, 100% there can be people who are like, you know, oh, I'll just pretty much make this song. There's so many songs that I've heard where I'm like, that is like a clear-cut copy.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, there's always little different variations which make it different. So
Yeah,
it's
okay.
not, yeah, you're not stealing anybody's shit when it comes, especially in electronic music. Like maybe in other music scenes, you know, there definitely can be stolen ideas, but in electronic, I feel like it's all up for grabs. Just
Yeah, nice.
do whatever you want.
Yeah. That's a healthy scene to be a part of, bro. That sounds like a nice
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, it's good. It's yeah. The you definitely have like, especially some of the Sydney clubs, they can be a bit for lack of a better term, toxic.
Yeah.
Just in the etiquette. Like my main thing, and it's not even a big deal, but it really pisses me off. Is like when you're walking through the crowd and people just like, you know, barge you. Like I get it, it's packed in here, but just manners. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, bro. Can I just get past you?
Yeah.
No, I've had people walk like it's a packed room, and you know how you kind of turn to your side and try and squeeze through? No, they just walk straight into people and like shouldering everybody.
Oh.
It's really annoying, but like it's not a big issue. That's like probably the only bad
Yeah.
thing I can say about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, but especially at like clubbing, whatever, you kind of get everybody at clubbing, but with the festivals, the people who are going are there for their love of that music. So you have that in common. I found that big time with the hardstyle scene.
Yeah.
The hardstyle scene can seem aggressive from the outside, and then you go there and everyone is so nice because they're just there to listen to the music that they love. Like
Yeah.
they're not there to, you know, cause any drama or, you know, they're not just there to get fucked up. They're there because they love the tracks and they
Yeah.
want to see it live.
Dude, I'm not really the biggest fan of hardstyle. I wouldn't even listen to it. Like I can't say I'm a fan of it, but I've listened to it a lot. But then going to the first hardstyle festivals, I remember starting to think to myself like, man, I'm gonna get in a fight tonight. You know what I mean? I was this is just what's gonna happen. So I'm like ready. I prep myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to get into a fight. Especially because you just look at it from the outside and all you see is just like, it looks like a massive lad scene.
Yeah,
It
well,
just-
that's what my first thought of it was. Like the first hardstyle thing I went to was Def Con.
Yeah.
I didn't even like hardstyle. Just all my friends were going, so I'm like, oh fuck it, like it'll be a fun day. Went there, was not like that at all. Like everyone's so nice, like everyone's really lovely. It's exactly like the hardstyle scene, as in. Not the hardstyle scene, sorry, the hardcore scene, where, you know, aggressive screaming music, and you look at the pit and everyone's just throwing arms around. It looks
Yeah.
like they're beating each other up.
Yeah.
And like they are beating each other up, but it's like everyone's consented to it. Like it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
And then like if you hit the floor, there's 10 people coming to pick you up straight
Yeah,
away. Like no one's gonna let you get hurt. I remember I went to see this band called Speed in Marrickville a couple years ago, and it was my first hardcore show in years. So I'm standing there, they're like 2 songs in, and I'm at the outside of the pit, and I'm kind of like just taking it all in. I haven't seen this stuff for a couple years, so I'm like, oh, it's so cool to be back. Wasn't paying attention, and someone's swung their arm back and clocked me directly in the eye.
Oh.
Like straight, like nearly knocked me on my ass, like knocked me straight in the eye. This was Seth's first hardcore show. So he picks me up and drags me out of the pit, and he has no idea what's going on. He's like, oh, like he's new to this. He doesn't understand it. So he picks me up, pulls me out, and he's like, hey, everyone get the fuck out of the way. Like, I've got to get him out.
Yeah.
Get him out. And he's like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, just give me 5 minutes and we'll go back in. And he's like, you want to go back in? I'm like, yeah, this is just what happens at these things. Like, it's all love at the end of the day. You do get some crowd killers, which I'm not a fan of, and those are people who look like they're intentionally going out of their way to hurt people,
Yeah.
and that ruins the show for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, don't go there with intent to hurt someone.
Yeah, of
If you
course.
do hurt someone, just say sorry and move on.
yeah.
Like no one's like,
on
most
the
people
back.
aren't there to like, they're not there to hurt you. They're
Yeah.
just, that's their expressive dancing to
Yeah.
it.
That's crazy. I've never been to any kind of hardcore show ever. I
They're a
never.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun, yeah.
Fossey goes, you know, remember Fossey? You
I remember Fossey, yeah.
He goes to them every now and then. I'd like to tag along with him one day.
It's good
but-
to experience it. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like everyone should.
Yeah.
But I have a friend, and I keep like, because I know he hates it, so I'm like, oh, we'll take you to this. Like, you'll come along, and he's just like, dude, if I go and someone hits me, I will fight them. I'm like, dude, it's not like that. Like, You're not starting fights. It's just the way that they dance.
Yeah. Well, the festivals that I'm the most interested in, dude, is the ones that I always see you are posting, and it kind of looks like they're a multiple day thing.
Yeah.
I've never had any festival that's gone for more than a day ever in my life.
They're the best.
I bet.
They're the best. So the main one that I've been going to for the past, I've done it 4 times now. There was a 2-year break because 1 year was bushfires and the other year was COVID, but then they got back. But Lost Paradise over New Year's Eve in Glenworth Valley. Honestly, like, I went last year, and before it started, I was like, okay, this is my last one. Like, I've done this a lot. I'm going to try something new. Like, this will be my last one. Had the week, and I was like, oh, I'm coming back. Oh, it's insane. Like, you have your first night, you start off pretty chill because, like, you just got here. It's 4 days long. Let's not overdo it.
Yeah.
Have your first night, and the first night usually ends at, like, midnight. So it's pretty chill. And then the next night, you go a little bit crazier. The night after, you go a little crazier. And the day, like, you wake up and you're feeling pretty rough.
Yeah.
You just hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
Like, you go get a feed. You go lie down on the floor at your campsite because it's too hot to stay in your swag.
Yeah.
But those things are so incredible. And then, actually funny you brought those up because I just, 2 weeks ago, I went to pitch down in Victoria.
Yeah.
Which I've been looking forward to for over a year now.
Yeah.
We get there, and 65% of it got cancelled.
Oh, wow.
Because there was, like, extreme fire warnings in the national park that it was at. So the first night was meant to go till 4:30 in the morning, finished at midnight. Like, I was upset. I missed out on 2 of the acts that I was, like, most keen for at the festival. So gutted about that, but we still had fun. The next night was meant to go from midday till 7 a.m. That started at 6 p.m. and went till 6 a.m. So we still got a good night in. It was probably my favourite night of this year. Like, I got to see the act I was most keen for. So that was great. Then the next night, night 3, was meant to go till 5. That finished at 7:30 at night.
Oh.
And they were like, yeah, everyone needs to leave tomorrow. Like,
Oh.
you're going home. So that was a bit disappointing, but we made the best of it. Like, we got our music from 7:30, and then 7:30 hits, and there's thousands of people just wandering around their campsite because fucking 7:30 at night. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
But then people started putting out, like, people brought DJ decks and generators and speakers, so they'd have like campsite parties, and you just bounce from campsite to campsite. There was one dude, and he was playing. Oh, what time? We probably got there at like 9 o'clock. And this festival's BYO as well, so you can bring all your own alcohol in, which was perfect. I'm not spending $100 a day on alcohol.
Yeah.
So you'd, like, go back to your campsite. We sat down for a little bit, had a few drinks, and then my mate strapped an esky across his shoulder.
Yeah.
We loaded up the esky and we went and found this little party at this campsite, and this dude brought a crowd. I reckon 1,000 people rocked up around this one campsite.
Whoa.
Dude, it was packed. You could not move. It was insane. And then we just go from campsite to campsite. Did that for hours. Got to like 3, 4 a.m. and then we're like, okay, we've been doing this for like 7 hours. Let's go to bed.
Yeah.
And then we got to bed and drove home 14 hours the next day.
Bro, that's madness. That is madness. I have to experience that in my life. Like,
It's a lot of fun. It's hard. If you get a full festival, like that one obviously wasn't a full festival, so it was a little bit easier to manage. But when you get a full festival, it does get tough. Like, you get to the point and you're like, I'm so tired. Like, I remember one of the other ones at Lost Paradise, not the last one, the one before, got to New Year's Eve, so the last night, and it was 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve, and I'm like, I'm going for a nap.
Yeah.
Like, I am so tired, like, so sleep deprived, because you go to bed late, and then you have to wake up as soon as the sun comes out, because otherwise you're just cooking in your swag.
Yeah.
Disgusting, uncomfortable. So you don't get much sleep, and I just got to the point where I was just purely exhausted. I was like, I need to go lie down.
yeah.
So I didn't even take my shoes off. I just lied in the swag and had my shoes outside of the swag. And you can hear the stages going off from your campsite. And I probably lied there for half an hour. I was like, nah, I got to get up. That is sounding too good to miss out on. So I got up, went out, still feeling so tired. Saw this one guy, Jamie XX, and he brought me back to life. Like, I was dead at the start of his set. 15 minutes in, I'm like, no, we're back on. Let's go.
Damn, that's amazing, man. It's amazing. Do people bring like 4-wheel drive like setups and stuff, or is it everyone
With
kind
Lost Paradise, you're not allowed to camp with your car.
Okay.
So I always.
Do you know why? Why would they have that rule?
I don't know. But yeah, so you pretty much park in this like car park and then you lug all your camp over and you set up camp there. Pitch, however, you're allowed to camp with your camps, with your vehicle, which makes all the difference. It is so nice. Like, because we had 9 of us go down, we hired a 12-seater van.
Nice.
So everyone loaded into that, and you just chuck all your valuables in the van and then lock it and leave it, and it's so much better. But
do you have people that walk around and try and steal stuff a lot of those festivals?
No, I've never had that. It's usually pretty good. Like most people, they're like good people. Like there's definitely some dickheads. There's dickheads everywhere. But majority of people there, they're really nice, especially at Pitch. Like, I don't know, down in Victoria, they're all so lovely. Yeah. Like everyone was just so nice. I remember I was walking around the campsite an hour after being there and this dude just walks past. He's like, "You're looking hot." And I'm like, "Thank you." Fuck yeah, hectic. I feel good now.
I needed that.
Yeah, that started the day off right.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to Victoria tomorrow. I want to find that dude. I need one of them.
It was great. Like, yeah, and everyone's just so lovely. There was a few people. Like, I had a friend of mine, he just got a little bit too fucked up, and we were kind of taking care of him. And the amount of people that just came around and was, like, offering us water bottles. And they're like, "Oh, do you guys need help? Like, here's some water." And it's so lovely to see because, like, a lot of people would just be like, "Oh, he's fucked. Keep dancing." Not these people. They always hand out. And then, like, one of them gave us a bottle of water, and I ended up chatting to her for, like, 20 minutes, and she was so nice.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so it's good. There's not... I haven't found much, thievery. Which is good. I've had people break my swag. But that's because they're just walking through the campsite fucked up and then they've fallen onto it with me inside. And they get up and they're like, "Oh, sorry, mate." Keep walking on. And I'm like, "It's fine. You kind of fucked my $300 swag, but it's all good."
Yeah. Well, from all the photos and stuff I see and not being a part of it, I see all the signs and stuff. Like one of my mates had one saying like, "Where's my cat?" Like, it's always memes
the bush
and
sticks.
Things. Yeah,
they're great. They're my
bush
favourite thing
sticks.
about them.
Yeah, that's cool. So I kind of get the vibe that a lot of people there are just get buckled, like absolutely buckled for a few days straight, which back in the day would have been my thing. But I'm curious now going, what would the experience be like if you were sober and you went to one of these things?
Oh, it'd still be great.
Still be great?
Yeah, it'd still be great. It's still a lot of fun. It'd be a lot harder to make it through because you get really tired really quickly.
Yeah.
But still a lot of fun. Like
I'm a weird animal, bro.
If you've got the love for it, you're going to pull through. But like, I mean, look, I'd still invite you to go. But if you're not enjoying it as much as as you could be, you might not be as enticed to keep going. You might be like, "All right, well, I'm going to bed now."
Yeah.
But if you got the love for it, you can pull through. You got to. There's acts that you want to see, like at Pitch especially. There were some acts that I really wanted to see that were starting at 3 a.m. It's like, all right, we got to wait till 3 a.m. to see them.
Oh
but
my gosh.
Yeah, like the one that I was most keen to see went from. He was actually only 1 to 3. Which was good, but then there was another one which was meant to be 3 to 5, but that night got cancelled. Wow. So if you've got the love for it, you can keep going.
Yeah. Well, my number one thing is conversation. That's what I live my life doing. I love talking, dude.
See, I'm the complete opposite of the festival.
Yeah.
Don't fucking talk to me. I just want to dance, man. Like, I like having a chat here and there, but when the chat goes on too long, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, if you're not on the dance floor, yap away.
Yeah.
But if I'm on the dance floor, what I want to be doing is dancing.
Yeah.
And I've actually had issues with people talking right in front of me while I'm dancing, and I'm like, "Oh, look, I know you're having a good time, but please fuck off a little bit so I can dance and not hear your chat about work the other week." Like I was in went to a festival in London with my partner, and it was a shit show of a festival. Like, I don't know what happened. The sound was terrible. The layout was weird. Like, it was just, not the best. It was the only festival I've been at where I'm like, let's leave early. It got to 6 p.m. and I looked at it, I'm like, do you even want to stay?
Yeah.
We ended up staying because we're like, we'll give it one more shot, and actually found a pretty cool stage that we stayed at. But one of the main acts that we were keen to see, these 2 Aussie guys, they were playing over there back to back, and we're so excited for this set. Firstly, the sound was awful, so you could hear people talking more than usual, but there was these 2 dudes right in front of me, and they were talking about their office job. And in my head, I'm like, bro, we're at a festival to not think about work. Why are we talking about work right now? I can hear you over the music.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off. I'm like, I just want to dance. I don't want to listen to your chat about Margaret in HR.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So did you do a couple festivals while you were over in Europe? You must have done a couple. You said London.
So I did one in London, which was 2 days, but we only went for one. And then we did Deck Mantel in Amsterdam, which was 3 days, but we went for 2.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
So good. The amount of money, like the stages, man. There was like this one stage where it's just like a big log tent. You go in, it's a sweat box. Like, did you ever go to Chinese laundry?
Yeah.
Imagine if Chinese laundry was just a long tent.
Oh.
And they had on the top of the roof of the tent, they had these massive LED strips just going down, playing like little visuals and shit. The only reason we left, like we were in there for hours and we're like, oh, we need water.
Yeah.
We don't want to leave. And then we left and we're like, it's too packed in there. Like, we're not going to get back in.
Yeah.
So, but the stages are incredible. Like, there was one stage that was just scaffolding. That was sick. You could just climb up. It was so much. Yeah, it was really fun, man. One was a massive ring. Like, it was just a big field and a massive ring that went around, and it was just heaps of lights and visuals on there. So,
damn.
Yeah, they do it really well.
Would you say it was a better experience than Australian scenes when it comes to festivals?
Like, I've had more fun at Australian festivals, but that's because I have my group of friends.
Yeah,
and, like, I feel like the group that you go with is a big part of those festivals. Like, the past few ones that I've gone to, I've had the best crew. Like, everyone there has just... One thing I've noticed about us is... everyone just compliments each other, and it's really nice to be around. You're just like, oh, fuck, I feel good hanging out with these people because, like, they make me feel good.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. So being with the right group helps a lot. If I had that group over in Deck Mantel, man, we would have run shit up. Like, that was so much fun. And, like, even with my partner, like, it was just me and her, and we still had the best time.
Yeah.
But she's, like, on the exact same page as me. Like, she just wants to dance and listen to good music.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have that somebody that's really invested in the same things that I am.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I had my whole group over there, I'd say it's probably, like, the funnest, but it's definitely the best festival, if that makes sense. Like,
Okay.
I've had more fun at other festivals, but that one was the best.
Yeah, okay. Would it be on your bucket list to try, like, Burning Man?
I'd like to try Burning Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Burning Man would be cool. I don't know exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
Like, it seems... I don't know what it is.
It's
like,
like
I know
a free-for-all, don't it?
Well, it's not even a festival, really. It's like... There's no
psychedelic
like
plays,
paid acts. People just rock up and play. Like, it's
True.
like a little community for a week.
Yeah.
And then they pack up and go home.
Yeah.
Burning Man would be cool. There's definitely other ones on my list that I'd rather hit first.
I
Mainly
wouldn't
in the
know.
Netherlands, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's where they all are.
I wouldn't know any festivals, to be honest with you. I have no idea what any of them are. I have no idea.
I feel like, yeah, if you just keep in the loop with the scene, you see, you know, artists you like, oh, they're playing this festival, and then you go into that festival and you see the lineup, and you're like, oh, cool, and then you see past videos from other years, and you're like, oh, that looks really fun.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, there's a few festivals that I want to tick off. Not too many in America, to be honest. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like, yeah, I feel like the techno scene in America is not really there.
Yeah.
It's definitely getting bigger. I mean, I say that from a couch in fucking Australia. But, like, from what I see on Instagram and shit, it doesn't, like, there's definitely events going on, but the big techno festivals, I don't think they're happening too often over there.
I'd love
but
to
then
go
you go to
Rolling
Europe.
Loud, dude. Have you seen Rolling Loud in America? Oh, that's my scene. Dude.
See, I like the music. I don't want to see it live.
Oh, yeah?
Like, every hip-hop artist I've seen at a festival, it just has not sounded good.
Yeah.
Like, I went and saw A$AP Rocky at his own show. Was incredible. Such a fun show. Saw A$AP Rocky at Listen Out, and it sucked.
Oh, really?
I could not hear a fucking thing. And I think that's just the issue. Like, they don't have speakers good enough to supply a crowd of that many people.
Yeah.
Which is what was really good about Deck Mantel. Like, the speakers there, you could hear it. Like, you need earplugs, otherwise you're going home and your ears are ringing and you're not sleeping for 4 hours because you're just hearing a constant dun, 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 dun.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'd love to try that community aspect, bro. I think I'd really enjoy it from a sense of community. I'd love to be around a good group of people, even if everyone else is getting blind, like, for the whole week. I'm known to go to the boys' hotel parties and just, like, kick back while
Just hang
everyone
out.
else. They'll
Yeah.
be kicking on till late. And I'll be the one chatting everyone's ear off, you know what I mean? They'll be the ones, most of them are Gurning and I'm the ones chatting their off. Well, one thing I wanted to ask you was, it's been a while since you've moved out of home. When did you move out from living over there in Glenwood?
Last March, so just over a year now. My lease actually just ran out the weekend that I was in pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And where'd you move to?
I'm in Carlingford at the moment.
Carlingford.
Yeah.
Where's Carlingford?
Right next to Epping.
Oh, yeah.
So Epping Station is literally like 2-minute drive away from me.
Yeah, nice. Why'd you make such a big move? That's pretty far.
Oh, that's a small one.
What do you mean?
I'm moving to the city soon.
Oh,
Yeah.
sheesh.
So me and my roommate moved. Like we're planning to move out together, and I wanted to go straight to the city straight away. So we had me, my roommate, and then we were going to move out with 2 other guys, but they dropped out. So then when we were with all 4 of us, we were looking at like Glebe area around like kind of that inner west sort of area. They dropped out, and then I look at my mate Lockie, and I'm like, oh, fuck it, you know what? Let's start looking a little bit closer to home. I'm still working out in the hills, so we'll go there. And then we found this place in Carlingford and locked up there.
Yeah.
And stayed there for a year, and it's been good.
Yeah,
it's been
yeah.
really nice being out of home. I do miss my family.
Mm-hmm.
I have realised that I actually love them.
Yeah.
They're great people. So
Yeah.
it is nice to have that little bit of a separation though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like when you're living, especially with a house, like my house wasn't big and there was always so many people in there.
Yeah.
Fuck, they get under your skin. It's like everyone fucking leave me alone for I just got home from work. I don't want to fucking yappa.
It's like the opposite from school.
Yeah, exactly. At school, I don't know, because I didn't have work stress.
Yeah.
There was no school stress. I mean, there was school stress, but it didn't matter. Like, you look back on it and you're like, oh, there was literally nothing wrong with anything going on back then. It was all fine.
Yeah, it's funny, hey. Yeah, I moved out when I would have said it was probably about 4 years ago. I moved out for a while. I did not last more than 3 months before I was literally written off until the point where I had to be put back at home. It just didn't survive.
No.
I wouldn't have survived another 3 months either. I was just taking it way too far, being out of my own.
You have that level of freedom.
Oh,
you're like, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
I abused it too.
Yeah, like I feel like I don't know. I was definitely more crazy when I was at home with mum, which seems weird. Like you'd think you move out, all right, that's when you go crazy. But
I found that the reason why I went so crazy having the freedom when I was moved out wasn't because I had no one telling me what I couldn't do. It was because I actually missed being around people so much that I was finding so much more crazy shit to do all the time. You know? That's what was different about it for me. But yeah, since coming back home, I'm kind of lucky because I don't actually live here. I actually live in Canberra. I live in Canberra from Sunday to Thursday. Yeah.
What?
I've been there all year.
Holy shit. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, so I just travel back on the weekends as much as I can. If I'm not going fucking wherever I'm going, I'm always going somewhere random. But yeah, I just literally come here to film podcasts.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I don't even sleep here. I don't even have a bed here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I lived here for about a year before I moved out, and I didn't even have a bed then.
I mean, if you got to sleep, you can just crash on the couch here.
We got a spare bed that's usually free, so I'll crash in there. But yeah, I live at my partner's house most of the time. But it's amazing having the freedom to be able to like go away from anywhere I want to go away from.
Yeah.
You know, I can go to multiple houses. I find it, I don't know how, and I'm going to soon be living like completely independent, I guess, me and my partner. Something that we're planning on doing soon.
Nice.
But I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time. So I'm just wondering if you miss being at home or you really do enjoy the freedom, not the freedom, but the independence.
I definitely miss my family. I don't want to live there anymore.
Yeah.
Like I've moved out now, and now that I have moved out, it's nice to kind of have my own life. It's a little, I should go see my family more than I do. It's a little tough because I've been trying to keep myself as busy as possible because like I don't really want to just hang out anymore. Like I loved when I was in high school and even a few years after high school, I just wanted to chill.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. But now it's like I'm at the point where it's like, no, I want to, like I barely even smoke weed now.
Yeah.
I just want to constantly be doing stuff like having fun and chilling, but out of the house.
Yeah.
And obviously there's every now and again, there's a day where I'm like, I'm doing nothing. I'm planting myself on the couch and watching movies all day with my roommate.
Yeah.
Which is really nice when I do it once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't like to do it too often. But yeah, I don't think I could go back to living in a family house. It's nice, you know, having my own space, being able to kind of just do what I want. Like when I was living at home, it was constant. I'd just go to my bedroom and that's where I'd hang out.
Yeah.
And like obviously I'd go in the living room and hang out for like a little bit.
Yeah.
But after I got sick of that, it would be back to my bedroom. So it's nice to have a space where it's like, oh, I don't just get home and go straight to my room. It's nice to be like, you know, all right, I've got this living area. I can use the kitchen whenever I want. That was probably the biggest issue of living with mum.
Yeah.
The kitchen, having so many people and everyone's cooking different dinners at different times. And Aiden would take fucking 3 hours to cook his dinner and then finish and not wash up the dishes. And then I'd be like, oh, I've got to cook mine, but I need the dishes. So I've got to wash them up now. So that's a really nice aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I love living out of home. It's great. It was a long time coming. I feel like I stayed at home for quite a long time. And then I just hit this point where I was like, I need to get out.
Yeah.
And then moved to Epping, and now in a couple of weeks I'm moving out to Stanmore.
Yeah, nice.
So that's like, right next to Glebe, right next to Central. So it'll be a lot easier, especially when I do go out. It's not going to take me an hour and a half on fucking public transport to get home.
Yeah. I wonder what it's like having a roommate, because I have had roommates before, but there were people I didn't know.
See, that seems wild to me.
That was wild.
I can't do that. Like I need to know who I'm living with.
It was
I
wild.
feel awkward.
Dude, I remember living in this place, right? And I honestly don't know who lived there and who didn't.
There's just always people there.
Always people there.
Yeah, okay.
I remember I was late one night. It was probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. I think I was eating cereal. And there was someone else like awake too. And I was just like talking to them. I was like, oh, so what are you doing here? Like, just, you know, trying to make conversation. And then she goes, oh, I live here. I was like, oh, how long have you lived for? And she's like, oh, about like a week or two. I'm like, oh, okay.
Where was this at?
Thought I've seen you before. I was living like, there's like a suburb near Penrith called, I can't remember what the name of this suburb was called, but it was like one of the new, it wasn't
estates?
new. It wasn't new as in new houses, but it's like, it's newer than all the rest of them.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called, bro. It had 2 names, but it was 2 syllables, like a, oh, fuck, I'm never going to remember what this place was called, but it was weird, bro. It was really weird.
It's like I'm not the most sociable person on my best day, so living with strangers, like, oh no, that seems like a fucking, that seems like the third layer of hell to me.
It was so
like
weird.
I need to know who I'm living with. Like, are these people chill? And also, like, if I want to use the living room and then there's a stranger in it, I'm going to be more inclined to just go to my room.
Oh, it was
because
so
I can
hard.
relax in my room and not, like, you know, feel awkward to try and make small talk, or because I'm not the best talker. I can talk to my friends.
Yeah.
You put me with someone new, unless we have like a common interest. Oh God, I just stumble over my words and I just seem like this guy has no idea what he's talking about.
Dude, I remember these people I was living with, they were into like, I wouldn't say they were as far as go LARPing and dressing up and shit, but they were like
role-playing
kind of
stuff.
people. Not full role play, but the Comic-Con kind of people.
Yeah, okay.
And like they'd have like lots of those board games like Dungeons and Dragons type things. And I remember I said on my first couple of days there, I was like, oh, this looks fucking sick. Like I wouldn't mind like giving it a go one day, you know, just hanging out with you and playing and that. Everyone's drinking and stuff, and they had a bunch of friends over, and I probably got 3 minutes into this game. I'm like, oh no, I forgot. I've got to go somewhere.
You didn't have to go anywhere, did you?
Nah, bro. I was found something to do, bro. It was like, I had no interest in anyone.
See,
else.
I never, like, I look at those sort of games and like I never had an interest in it. And then I was staying in Manchester with my partner, and my partner's sibling lives in Manchester, so we were there with their partner, and they had one of those. It wasn't Dungeons and Dragons, but it was kind of like you read a card and it's like you got to escape from this house where there's a bunch of monsters and stuff, and you got like all these dice and special abilities and shit.
Yeah,
I actually ended up having the funnest time. Like we started playing it before we went to go see the Barbie movie. And I was upset that the Barbie movie was coming on because I'm like, I want to keep playing this. This is so much fun. And then we never got to finish the game, but I'd love to go back over and finish that because that was actually fun. I think the mixture of like drinks and good people as well, it just made it fun.
Yeah,
like, it was awesome.
Yeah, I remember my mate Nixie, we always joke about like getting into it. Like, what's the one they have over here? They have like Warhammer.
I've seen the stores where they like do the paintings, the little figurines.
It's a whole world, eh? You gotta like, you can get into it. Like they have They have stores for this one board game.
Yeah,
How wild's that?
it's crazy.
Imagine a Monopoly store that was in every suburb, bro. You know?
A lot of broken families.
Yeah. A lot of broken families, exactly. Yeah, no, I wouldn't mind trying it out, but I'll be real, I don't know if I ever will. I don't know if
It's
I ever
nice
will.
to try shit that you think you wouldn't like.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, from the outside, if you asked me a year ago, would I play a game like that? I'd be like, nah, that seems lame.
Yeah.
And then I played it. I'm like, I feel like, once again, it's just with the people.
people,
You got to
yeah.
have the good people around, because
Yeah.
if you got people that you can have fun with, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
I could be hanging out on a car park with my friends and still have a blast.
Yeah.
If the laughs are flowing and everyone's just having a good time, like, yeah, anything can be fun.
Yeah, I struggle with that a lot nowadays. Like, I don't have much time to be able to hang out with people anymore.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I did something with someone that wasn't productive.
Well, that's like
I don't know.
good for future progression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm my own worst enemy, but I'm also my own best motivator, because like it sounds mean, but it's like sometimes I struggle with the idea of even catching up for a fee, because I'm like, let's do something else. You know what I mean? Let's make an experience, do something we've never done before, or let's do something that's going to help us out. You know what I mean? Let's start a business.
Yeah, well, that's what's really nice about the music scene, is because going out to see music is all part of that. Like, you can't, for instance, in my situation, you can't be a DJ or like, want to do that stuff and then not go and see other DJs.
Yeah.
So it works out really well for
that's
me.
perfect.
Like, obviously all my friends are into it as well. So it's not just hanging out with friends. It's like, all right, going to see this music. So the more you're around the music, the more you get into it.
Yeah.
And the more stuff you hear, and like, as I said earlier, track selection is the biggest part. So you hear new tracks, and it's like homework, but like fun.
Yeah,
It's
that's
fun
a mad
homework.
way to look at that. Yeah, I don't have any. I guess the only thing that takes up all my time is podcasting, to be honest. But it's kind of like what I want to do. I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah.
But it's a very lonely,
Lonely game.
I've noticed over the last couple of months, like, it's
Yeah, okay.
lonely, bro. Like, it's not lonely because I get to hang out with someone exciting every week, but it's also lonely as well because there's so much time where it's like,
Maybe you got to get a co-host.
yeah. Or I just need to have someone to work with, and it comes to like sharing responsibility outside of.
Get like a Jamie.
I need a Jamie.
Yeah.
I have a Jamie in mind too.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And I told him, as soon as I'm ready, I'm happy to pay you $1,000 a week. $1,000 a
shit.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be silly to turn that down.
Yeah.
Quit his day job.
Yeah. And I'm happy with 15 hours worth of work a week.
Yeah.
I'm happy with 15 hours worth of work. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I'd like to come to one of these gigs that you're doing. I'd like to.
Yeah, I don't have one locked in now. Like, we have an idea where me and one of my best mates are going to go back to back, which ever since he told me he started DJing, I'm like, we need to do a back to back. Our music tastes are so similar because firstly, he's a big hardcore head as well. So we've got that in common.
Yeah.
But then also on the techno side, he's all about that as well. So I'm like, it just seems like it would work. So as soon as he said he was DJing, I'm like, this needs to happen. We need to do a back to back.
Yeah.
And one of our friends who's actually organising, he's actually got an event on tonight that I'm going to go to straight after this.
Nice.
He's throwing another party at the end of the year, and he's like, yeah, you two go back to back at that. And I'm like, oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Thank fuck. I've been waiting for this. So
Yeah.
time to get our tracks down and put it to work.
Damn, that'd be sick. That'd be exciting, actually. Yeah, there's something like I like the art of brotherhood, or just it's like when you said you surround yourself with people who are also in the scene. It makes you more involved to do something in the scene too. If you have someone with you, especially your best mate who's got the same interest, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
bro.
it's great.
I'd
Like,
ride that until I die.
It's so good because it's like I have a lot of my mates are just really into it. So there's never a shortage of people. Like if I want to go to something, it'll be very easy to find someone who wants to go to that as well.
Yeah.
Same with like my partner. She's like 9 times out, unless she's working, she will come to what I suggest. I'm like, yeah, there's this gig on at this random warehouse that starts at midnight. Do you want to go? And she'll be like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Oh, that's so mad, bro.
Yeah, it's great.
That's so mad. How long have you been together for?
Nearly a year.
Yeah,
Nearly a
nice,
year.
nice.
Coming up on a year, the day after my dad's birthday, actually.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
That's good.
That's so lucky to find someone that you just bond with.
Oh
so-
man, it's the best. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like from straight away, I was like, holy shit. Okay,
Yeah.
we're on here.
Yeah.
This is great. Because it's the typical story of being like, oh, I'm not getting in a relationship. Like, it's time to just, do me. I'll go on dates, but nothing serious. And
Yeah.
then, met her and I was like, oof.
Oh,
this screams trouble for me.
Yeah, bro. I remember I went when Luke Sessions got married. Actually, we were the night before that. I think it was the Bucks before that. So I think we went away the week before, and everyone else had misses, and everyone's just talking about it, and I said, look, I'm not getting, after my last couple, I'm not getting into a relationship. It's not happening. And you know what? From your wedding onwards, Luke, I'm entering my slut season. Like, I am going to
stage.
fuck everything, bro. I don't even care. Everything I can for at least 1 year, as hard as I can to see how many girls I can. And everyone's like, yeah, all right, sweet, good luck, good luck. 1 day later.
Yeah, that's how it happens,
One
man.
day, bro.
Dude,
actually, at Luke's wedding. That's where I met my
actually
missus.
the funny thing, because the night that I met my partner, we were going to an event because me and my friend, we missed out on this one artist at Lost Paradise that year. And the next week they were doing a show. So me and my mate were like, yeah, we'll go to this. And we met up beforehand and we were just chatting. I'm like, this is the year where I just focus on my music. Like, I'm going to put myself out there as well. Like, I'm going to ask people out just because, like, you know, I've never been in the dating world. Like, I never went on dates with people, and then, like, you know, was never part of the whole Tinder or Hinge culture. Like, it never worked for me. I always, like, found someone and then started dating them.
Yeah.
So then I got to that event, met my partner, and she was really cool. We hit it off, like, had great chats, like, the vibe was nice. Then at the end of the night, I'm like, oh, do you want to go get a drink sometime? And then, like, yeah, so the day of that I said, like, I'm not doing this shit, I met her, asked her out, and then the rest was history, man.
It's crazy how it works, bro.
That's exactly how, once you're not ready, that's when it hits you.
Yeah, bro.
And then you become ready. Because a long time, like, as we were like, not, you know, with each other, but doing the whole dating thing, I was like, oh, you know, am I ready for this? Like, it was not soon after my last one, but, like, kind of, like, sooner than I would have liked.
Yeah.
But then, like, we got into it, and I was like, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Oh, my
yeah.
God. So...
It's so weird, bro. Because I remember once I was with Luke Mao and we were out, and I was like, you know what, dude, it's nice tonight I get a missus. He's like, yeah? I said, yeah, I'm going to get a missus tonight. So we kind of looked around. We had a list of criteria I was looking for in appearances and stuff. Nah. And then looking at my list, like, yeah, that's it. So then I went out with that girl for as long as I could. You know, that's just how I thought in my head that's genuinely how relationships were. Like, I thought as a guy, you just pick your girlfriend. You know?
Nah, man, it's not like that.
I thought that's how it was,
Yeah.
but that didn't work.
Nah, obviously. That was never going to work.
That
You got to
didn't
have
work.
some connection
Yeah.
there. Like, it's not... and, like, don't get me wrong, my partner is the most beautiful person ever. But it's our likes and, like, the way that we act with each other.
Yeah.
That's what makes it good. Like,
It's
you
wrong.
could have the most beautiful person in the world and just be a cunt.
Yeah.
Happens with anybody. Like,
'Cause-
there's so many shitty people out there that look good.
Yeah. Oh, bro. Hell
Like,
yeah.
dudes included. There's so
Oh,
many
yeah.
good-looking
I
guys,
got
and they're
some
just the
good-looking
worst
mates,
fucking
and
person.
I got some good looking mates, and the best looking ones are just the most piece
They
of
know
shit.
they're good looking.
Yeah.
They know they can get
Yeah.
away with it. Like, I'm hot, I can do what I want.
And
it's
they
just, it
do, and they
sucks.
can, and they will. Yeah.
It sucks. Like, I value, you know, authenticity.
Yeah.
At least. So
Yeah.
just be yourself, and you'll attract what you need.
Yeah. I
is
remember I
good.
was thinking to myself, like, I had a list of things I always was looking for in a wife or someone who eventually I could settle down with. But it took me a long time to work that list out. I kind of thought the same thing as with a missus. You just pick someone, you get married, you have kids, like, you just commit. I thought that's what life was. Just committing.
See, I'm the complete opposite. Even growing up, I was just like, nah, there's something, it's deep.
Yeah.
I was always like that when I was a kid. Like, I was like, yeah, can't
As
wait
a
to,
kid,
like...
I was, bro.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I just kept that the whole time. I was like,
Yeah.
it's never going to be this superficial thing. And it's hard. I mean,
Yeah.
this one hasn't been hard. This has been the easiest shit ever. Everything's just worked.
Yeah.
Which is great, but
know.
you can't just, I feel like you can't just go in with that mindset, because if you go in with that mindset, then nothing's going to work out.
Well, I looked at it from a statistical probability at the end of the day.
When
know?
you're looking at relationships from a...
and bro,
Oh,
this
God.
sounds bad, but and anyone who's listened, and to the boys, thank you, who have listened to every episode, they've seen the progression I've gone through. When in the beginning, I literally thought I will have multiple wives through my life because it's the probability of marriage. Like, I thought, oh, I wonder what my first wife's going to be. Like, I wonder if I'm
Oh,
going to have multiple kids with my
yeah.
first wife, or if I'm even going to have any kids of her. And how many kids I'm going to have with my third wife, you know? Because it's like, I'm always going to be looking for serious commitment, but I just thought that was just the way it was going to work out mathematically.
Well, I mean, growing up, maybe not from our school, but once I left that school, most of the people I was around, their parents were divorced.
Yeah,
I feel like I might have been one of a couple people that actually had parents that were split up.
Yeah.
Like, it was not a common thing at that school. And that's why I'm glad I left that school. Like, when I first left, I was like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
God, I should not have left. Like,
Oh, really?
Oh, I fucking hated the other school I went to. Like, that's where my academic career just went down. I stopped going to school because no one gave a fuck. Everyone in that year was just, I didn't like them.
Yeah.
Like, they were good, definitely good people that I met. Like, fucking Jay was in my year.
Yeah.
Which was wild. Another one that just started hanging out with Seth, and I was like, what the fuck?
I love Jay, dude.
Jay's great.
Jay's
Love
a
Jay.
great
Yeah,
dad,
love
too.
Jay. He's a good
great
egg.
dad, dude.
Yeah, crazy.
He's got a beautiful little girl, eh? Sent me a
Yeah.
mad photo of them the other day, and it was just warmed me, eh?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good. I haven't seen him in a while, actually. He's been, because I'm like part of like a UFC group chat with like me, Seth, Jay and Scully.
Yeah.
Because that's like everyone who would come to my place or mum's place and would all watch the UFC. And obviously with like UFC 300 coming up, and
Yeah.
I haven't gone to watch it with them for ages. Like, I reckon about a year. I might have come back once or twice and watched it, but I've been out of the picture.
Yeah.
UFC 300's coming up, and the whole time I was like, yeah, I'll be there. But they kept like, it's Jay especially was just like, this whole week he's been like, are you coming? And I'm like, oh, I've got to confirm, like, it is around my anniversary, so I might, be preoccupied. And he's like, well, figure it out. Tell her to come. And I'm like, she's not going to like it.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, no, you're coming. And then last night, they're like, did you confirm? And I'm like, oh, I'll confirm tonight. I wake up to a message this morning. And he's like, I didn't see any confirmation last night. When are you coming? And I'm like, I'll be there. And he's just like, oh, I'd kiss you, man. And I'm like, it's nice to feel wanted.
Yeah, he's a good chap, bro. I love him. But on the topic of split parents, like that's why my mindset always was what it was, because I've always looked at any relationship like a religious perspective, which is funny coming from a non-religious family. I thought that that's why religion worked and why marriage worked in the first place, because it was the idea of committing no matter what,
Yeah.
But it's not just that. You have to have
it's not that simple.
values, which is why I thought religion worked, because you had the values to base it on. But but now I know you can find other things to base your morals and values
and like,
on.
I am not religious at all. Like, I grew up in a religious family. We went to church all the time. We
I
went
didn't
to
know
youth
that your
group.
family was like that.
Oh, big time, man.
Yeah, wow.
We were Hillsong babies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. God. Yeah. That was a time in my life. But at the moment, no. Like, I hit 15 years old, and I was just like, not for me. I kind of observed what I was looking at, and I didn't like what I was seeing. There was a few incidences that happened within that church which I didn't agree with, and so I was like, fuck this, I'm leaving. But one thing I always respected about religion was the values that it teached.
Yeah.
Obviously, not especially with the church. In my experience, like, obviously it's different for everyone. In my experience, the people that I was going to church were very hypocritical.
Yeah.
They said they had those values and then do the complete opposite thing.
Yeah.
But the people who like uphold the values that some of these religions teach, I love that. Like, that's really good. I feel like I know what religion does for people. I understand why it's a thing. It's just, not my forte.
Yeah. Would you consider yourself to be spiritual?
I mean, look, I'm not going to say I'm a straight out atheist. Like, I don't believe, like, I don't...
You don't believe there's not a God.
I don't even know if I believe there's a God. Like,
Yeah, but you
God,
don't have to
but
believe
there's
there's
like,
a God, but you don't have... But
it's got to be
an
something.
An atheist believes there is no God.
Yeah, look,
Atheism is believing there is nothing.
I'd say probably, I don't want to label anything, but like the most accurate one would probably be agnostic. Like, you're open to it, and I'm open to it. I'm just not convinced by anything that's been put out there yet.
Yeah.
Nothing's like, honestly, speaking on religion, I know like it's a touchy subject with people because everyone has their beliefs, but
that's the beautiful part about it. Everyone has their beliefs. I think
Yeah.
everyone's allowed to have their own beliefs. It's not
100%.
really a touchy
And
subject.
like, some people I like have this conversation with, and they get very defensive because I'm just not saying it's a bunch of bullshit, but there's definitely some aspects where I'm like, well, that's not like, especially in Christianity, the whole against gays.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah.
People need to love who they love.
Of course.
Just let them.
Yeah, I agree. I don't, and to be honest, I've read the passage myself. I don't believe it says it. I don't. That's not how I interpret it.
It's just like how I've grown up in the church. Like Hillsong told someone not to come because they were a lesbian.
Yeah,
They said, don't come here because you're a lesbian.
Yeah,
It's like, I thought you were meant to be all about like love and inclusivity, but no,
Yeah.
you're telling people to not come because of who they love.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of a joke in my eyes.
Of
Like when I
course.
see that, I'm like, well, everything else you say goes out the window because
Yeah.
you can't even accept people for who they are.
It's important to look at it, in my opinion, all religion from a position in which there is no such thing as perfect. It's just some people trying to figure it out.
Yeah, well, that's all anyone's trying to do. We're all
Yeah.
just doing our best.
I
I
believe there
hope
is
we're all doing our best.
I believe there is a God. I really do. I know in my own head, I'm 100% certain in the belief on it. I just believe that everyone has no idea what it is or how to figure out how to do it or how to praise or what to worship. Everyone's all just
Yeah.
made up their own idea of what they think it is. And I believe everyone is wrong. Everyone is wrong.
Do you believe in a heaven and a hell?
I do. I believe in
Yeah.
a metaphorical heaven and a hell.
What do you mean by metaphorical?
Metaphorical.
That's the one.
I believe my belief so far and what I've created is I believe that when you die, you join an infinite pool of consciousness because it's the only word we have to use to describe the ability to think, right?
Language can only get you so far.
Yeah. So I believe you go up and you go back into a point in existence in which you're able to reflect because you've gained the experiences by having the senses that we're born with. Without the senses, we wouldn't have the experience. We could have existed before we were born, we just wouldn't know because we've never experienced them.
Well, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I think you go back there, you're in a unity of everyone being one consciousness together, which is life. You kind of have the ability to reflect on not just how you lived, how you felt emotionally, but also the impact you had on others.
Yeah.
Which is why I believe we have such a weird feeling to want to give and share and all these things. Because as far as I can tell, there's no biological explanation as to why you'd want to give away things if we're a survivalist species. You know,
It's a good way to put it.
it just doesn't make sense to me. I can't figure that bit out. So that leads me to my belief that we all kind of are one and we're all sharing this together. And while you're up there, you'll also feel the impact you had of your life and existence on everyone else. And you'll feel either the pain or the light in which your existence carried. And well, you've already died, so you're up there forever reflecting on either a place of pride or regret, which seems to me like heaven or hell. You're up there forever.
Okay.
But I do also believe you also will have the chance to come back and live your life again, which explains things like deja vu. And
Look, I'm not saying I believe it. That's what I fucking hope, though.
Yeah.
I want to do this shit all over again. This is so
Yeah.
much fun. Like, let me come and live a million lives. Like,
Yeah.
I really hope reincarnation's a thing because.
well, I believe I could be you next time around. If
Well,
I
that's the
want
thing.
to.
Like, what if it's like everyone just has a different experience every time?
Yeah.
Like, all right, so like, you know how people are like, oh, if you're shit, you're gonna come back as a bug.
yeah.
Being a bug would be cool, I reckon.
Yeah.
For like however long you're alive, just crawling down.
Yeah.
Imagine being an ant and like looking up at people that are just giants.
Wild, bro.
And then you come back as something else. You come back
Yeah.
as a tree and live for fucking 150
Yeah.
years.
I
You're
always
stationary.
think, like, imagine you come back as a piece of a rock. You come back as a rock, and then some kid picks you up and throws you in a lake.
It'd be an experience, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I really hope. Like, my only hope is it's not nothing.
Yeah.
If it's nothing, I'm going to be pissed. But
Yeah.
I can't be pissed because I'm nothing.
I love that, though. If it's nothing, I'm going to be pissed.
100%. Like, is that really
Yeah,
what's
the only
going
thing
to
that
happen?
will be is pissed.
Yeah. I'll be pissed for eternity. And I don't want to be pissed for that long.
Yeah. Yeah. I just have no reason to believe, and I'm always finding I know it's the same argument as a placebo at the end of the day, because I know that whatever you believe, you'll find proof in believing it, which is why religious people are so religious. I'll just constantly find proof.
Yeah, you'll find like enough coincidences for it to convince yourself.
Yeah, and even if it's not, I'll just delusionally just put things
You just
together.
tell yourself, like,
Yeah.
yep, this is how it is.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the facts, but yep, this is it.
And I'm so egotistical in my own head. Like, I believe whatever I tell myself anyway. It's
You
like-
just tell yourself like something that's based on no fact. You're just
Yeah.
like, it's just vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's giving vibe.
It's giving vibe. I think I'm right.
It's giving God. You know? But even though I know I'm not right, and if I know anything, I know nothing, I still can't convince myself I'm not right. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think to myself, like, if at one stage I was a sperm, right, and I had the track of swimming the fastest swimmer, and we've all seen videos, they're literally swimming, you know what I mean? They're not just like magnets pulling it in, which it could be. I'm not saying I'm just discounting that idea of it being like some kind of energetic magnet from an egg to a sperm, but I've seen the videos of the sperm swimming, so I know that was me with no memory of it. But
And
the
you were the
conscious
fastest.
awareness of somehow going there, whether it was subconscious or not. So there's been an existence beforehand, which I don't remember. So I can't believe that there's not going to be one after.
Yeah.
You know?
And it is a great like excuse for deja vu, which is great. Like what if you just live like I like the idea of like a multiverse. There's just infinite amount of you, and maybe that's what it is. Like every time you die, you jump into another version of yourself.
Yeah.
Which would be really cool. I want to see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like there's a version of me that is like touring the world, doing shows all over the globe.
Yeah.
I want to try that out. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So
I think about this all the time. Like my brain is so full of non-useful information most of the time because I'm trying to figure out life. It's all I do it all the time. And I think that we don't actually imagine anything. I believe all we're doing is peering into another universe. I believe that every thought ever created, everything, it's because, as we know, energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed.
there's some fucked up universes out there then.
Yeah, bro, that's what I mean. So if nothing can be created or destroyed, we're stuck within a finite amount of resources across every placet of life, then why is thoughts and imagination any different? Aren't we just peering into something that already exists?
It's a nice thought. It
Yeah.
would be cool. Like, yeah, I'd love to just, as I said earlier, do everything again, but not necessarily do everything that I've done this time.
Yeah.
I want to change it up. Maybe make different choices growing
Yeah.
up, see where that would have led me. Because, like, I look back on especially the teenage years where it's like, if I made a few different choices, I feel like my life would be vastly different.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm very intrigued to see, like, I'm very happy with where I'm at the moment. I like wouldn't change anything, but like, you know, once I've lived this life, let's run it back, but do it differently.
Yeah.
It's like when you know, those games where you like have to make choices and it leads you on a new
like
path.
Bandersnatch kind of stuff.
Then you go back and play again and you make all the different choices. You're like, I want to see where that one leads now.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think that it would explain this is what I tell myself too, it would explain the feeling of a gut feeling if we did get to relive our lives over again, because
You've done this before, so
Yeah.
you know what you're meant to be feeling.
yeah, you're telling yourself, you know, it's like people have said it to me a lot of times, and I've heard it for a lot of movies. You'll eventually get to multiple crossroads in your life where you have to make a big decision, but you'll know which one to go down. I see each one of those crossroads as going back and reliving the same thing over again, you know?
Yeah.
To be honest, it is all hope, but I am hoping, and I'm hoping to get to the end and just being like given an award, bro. Just being like, you
Good job.
got it.
Yeah,
bro.
good job.
You got it, you know? But then I know they're going to be like, you figured it out. But you also have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Yep.
You know, that would make me feel so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me feel so good. Yeah, I think it's kind of what led me in a weird way away from my psychedelic experiences, though, just because of the fact that I have a brain that can't convince myself that I'm wrong. Anything that enters my mind is true.
And that's not good for acid.
No.
You gotta really be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah. I would always eventually get to a stage where I'm comfortable with the fact that I know everything in my life is ruined from here on out, as long as I remember that fact.
Oh shit! I'd probably stop doing acid as well.
Yeah. And it just kept happening, and I was like, what am I doing this for? You know?
Yeah. There's definitely been some experiences where it's been a little much, and there's been times where like I was at a festival once and we were sitting down. It was like the sun had gone down, so it's dark, and we're all just chilling on the floor. This girl walks up to me, and I look at her. I'm like, yeah, I know this person. So I get up and start talking to her. 5 minutes into the conversation, I completely forget who she is. Like, I have no idea to save my life. And I remember she said, she's like, oh, I'm pretty cold right now. And the only thought going through my head is, you're not getting my jacket. I'm not giving it to you. Like, this is mine. She's like, I don't want your jacket. And I'm like, good, because you're not fucking having it. And it went on for like a couple more minutes. And then like I look at my friends and they're all just sitting down over there. And I look back and I'm like, I'm going to leave because I don't know who you are and this is scaring me. So I leave. And then one of my friends had to come over and like talk to her and be like, I'm so sorry about him. He's a little weird right now. And then she actually, when I was working at Frango's, she came into Frango's a couple weeks later and I could barely look her in the eyes. I'm like, I'm so fucking sorry for what happened. That's not good. She's like, it's fine. Like, I get it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what was going on that day.
Bro, I used to get this weird thing. If I would go to a festival and I'd taken LSD, for example, I'd think to myself that I've got this thing and everyone knows I've got this thing. I don't know what this thing was, but there was this thing that I've got and everyone knows I've got it. And then as soon as I start to think about the fact that I've got this thing, everyone was trying to take it. And it was so terrifying. I was like, oh my God, they all want it. So I'd have to just pretend like, oh, I don't know, I have this thing. And then everyone else would be like, oh, he's got the thing, bro. He's got this thing. And I was like, oh shit, I've got the thing. And then everyone wants to fuck me up. Oh God. Yeah, wild. I've had some wild LSD experiences.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like it's fun. You definitely don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I was a stage where it was constant.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I'm like, all right, I need a long break from this. And now, I don't know, maybe twice a year.
Yeah, okay.
Twice a year, if that. Like, and it's always at festivals. Like, there's been other times where it's like, I'll just have it. Like, shrooms is the one that I want to do at home.
Yeah.
Like, I like just shrooming out in like a nice chill environment, got some nice music on, not too loud, but like just enough that it's not quiet because I don't want silence.
Yeah,
like, I understand there's people who go take a fuck ton and sit in a dark, silent room. That sounds terrifying.
I'd be way more inclined to do that.
See, no, that like I understand the benefits to it, but I love dancing on it. Like, that's what I want to be doing at all times. I've had a couple
good boogies on it too.
Hey, there's nothing better than a boogie, even like just a sober boogie.
Yeah.
Boogies in general, that's what I live for.
Yeah, I had a good boogie about a couple weeks ago. It was
That's
a
good.
Boogie, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna have a great boogie tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then next weekend's a long weekend, so I'll be boogieing all weekends. Like, it's the most fun I ever have. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
And we get into it. Like, I remember we're at this festival and me and my friends, when we danced, we fucking danced. Like, we don't sit there and just like bop our head. We get low. We start doing weird shit and we're just having the time of our life. And every time we're at a festival, I look around and I'm like, no one's dancing like us. We either look like the most fun people or the biggest crackheads. There's no in between. Like, there's no like, oh, they're having fun. It's just like, oh, they're having fun or, oh, they're fucking weird.
Yeah.
And
I look at crackheads and I think they're having the most fun.
They're probably having a great time. Not really an avenue I want to go down, but it looks like fun.
Dude, just quick side tangent too, reminds me of this story. I was talking to this crackhead once, and he was telling me about the fact that he was cracked. I mean, like proper. And he just started walking and talking to me, and I'm like, oh man. And then there's nothing you can do in those situations other than to just try and play it as cool as you can. You know?
And then try and find an exit route whenever you can.
Yeah. So I'm just talking, and he's telling me all about the fact that he has two daughters, and they're crackheads too. And he was getting out of jail recently. So his two daughters are like, oh, God, Dad's getting out of jail real soon. We've got to do something. And they're crackheads. So they're just like, oh, we've got to figure something out. We've got to throw him a party. So they're like, we've got to get some money. So they kidnapped a guy, right? They just went out and kidnapped a
random person off the street.
Yeah, random guy. They forced him to empty his bank account at ATM. Then they drove him to another one, then another one. They had this guy for a month. A month.
And what, these people aren't in jail now?
Oh, yeah, they went to jail.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, fuck.
By the time he got out, his daughters were in jail. Like, that's the point of the story.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, but they said that eventually I can't remember exactly because I was really at this point, like, this guy's dangerous. I want to get away from him.
Yeah.
It was something along the lines of, like, they got like 45,000 off him over the month. By the time they ran out of his money, they'd spent all the money being crackheads, right? All these plans and schemes, getting a car here and there and that. Eventually, they had him in the boot for almost a month, giving him food and water and stuff.
Jesus.
Right?
Fucking hell.
They ended up realizing, I don't even know. I met this guy in Parramatta. He ended up telling me that I think by the end they pushed him down a hill. That was like, what do we got to do with the guy? Like, oh, I don't know. So they just like got him out of the boot and then they literally just pushed him down a hill.
Oh my God.
This guy just rolled down a hill. And then like he ended up being like, oh my God, I'm free.
And that's how they left him.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It wasn't
okay.
even, from what he was
What the
explaining to me, it
fuck?
was just like a normal hill. Like, like just a sloped bit of grass.
Be free.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that was my craziest
What the
crackhead
fuck,
story.
man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a few conversations. There was one dude. I was working at a bottle shop in Elizabeth Bay, and I was like, "There's this one bench just out front of it. That's where I like to get. If it was like a nice sunny day, I'd go sit on that bench on my break."
Yeah.
I sit down, and this old dude comes in, like probably like 60, maybe late 50s, comes sits down next to me, and he just starts talking about like how involved with gangs he's in.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh fuck, here we go. All right." Yeah, talk to me, like, yeah. And then I think he kept like insinuating that I was gay, because he's like, I don't have any issues with gay people, and then giving me the looks like I'm cool with you, and I'm like, dude, I'm not gay, but whatever, go on. And yeah, he just kept talking about gangs and started talking about like, you remember in the 80s, the ghost train at Luna Park caught on fire.
Yeah.
Started going into that. He's like, yeah, I knew the guys who did that. Like, it was all an insurance job, blah, 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 blah. Went on for like my whole break. And when that happens, you don't even get a break. Like, your whole break is taken up by some cunt yapping at you. And you're just like, please shut up. And it got to the point where I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I have to go back to work now. And he's like, it's all right. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be here. And I'll be like, oh, fuck. So I had to go find a new place to go have my break.
bench.
Yeah, I just wanted my old bench back.
You ruined my bench. Oh my god.
Yeah, there was definitely some interesting characters at that bottle shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine there being much Harvard University graduates.
Well,
coming
it's a
past.
very like wealthy area. Like if you live in Elizabeth Bay, you're fucking well off.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there was one dude. He would always come in and buy like $1,000 worth of wine and shit.
Wow.
And he just lived up the road. So some days, if he didn't have the car, we'd walk it up with him. He walks us in. We walk through this like little lobby thing, and on the side there's like 2 Ferraris and a fucking Lambo and shit.
Oh my god.
They're all his, and I'm like making small talk with him. I'm like, "Oh, do you like it out here?" And he's just like, "It's fine." I'm like, "Okay." Open up his door. He's got a fucking elevator from his car park into his apartment, and then like, so when you get out of the elevator, there's like another little lobby, and then his apartment. And he's saying, "Yeah, it's all right. We want to move though." Like, I'm like, "How is this not blowing your mind right now?" Like, I'm here living in some fucking apartment in Carlingford, and you're saying this is fine. I'm like, dude, this is like tip top of the fucking rich apartments.
You've hit the best already. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like what more can you get other than like a McMansion in the mountains?
Yeah, it's wild.
Some
bro.
people like
Perspective, eh?
they feel it's all about perspective.
perspective.
Like some people don't know what they have.
Yeah.
It's like if you lived the life of a normal person, you'd be shocked.
Yeah.
Like most of us are just going day to day, just trying to get by. And they're here like thinking that they're fucking... Like, don't get me wrong, material gain is not everything. I understand. Like, you could have everything in the world and still not be happy.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good.
I'd rather be sad in that house. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Beats being sad in any other house.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be sad no matter what.
Well, I was laughing with the guy who was cutting my hair the other day.
Which looks good, by the way.
Thank you. For everyone listening. Thank you for commenting as well. But the guy was telling me about injuries and stuff. We were just talking about injuries, and I was like, dude, I got a story for you. I met a guy once, and the first few times I didn't hang out with him, I had interactions with him, I thought like, oh, he's special. Like he's on the spectrum somehow. I don't know if it's autism, Down syndrome, what's going on, but he's got some kind of learning disability in some way. And then he kept referencing every time the accident. And I remember saying to him eventually, I was like, sorry, bro, I don't know what this accident is. Like, I don't know if you've told me before or what, but I can't remember. And he's like, oh, I was working as a traffic control guy, and I had my back to the main road with a stop sign, and a truck hit me. Oh. Picked him up against the truck and pushed him against one of those barriers that they fill with water. But they filled it with concrete to keep it stable.
Fuck.
Pushed him so hard that he went up into the air after being compressed. It popped him up into the air after the whole truck compressed, and it flung him up into the air 20 feet. And he came back down, right? Couldn't see anything. He's like, what the hell? He just thought someone hit him or something. So he's gotten up ready to try and fight. He didn't know what's going on.
Gotten up after that.
Yeah, he's gotten up, right? Every bone was broken in his body. So he's like getting up. His mate from work tackled him, put him on the ground. He couldn't see because his scalp peeled open and covered his face, right? So he's showing me all these scars and shit. Like, this is a
He's
true
lucky to be
story.
alive.
Oh, bro. He broke every rib, his back, every shoulder, like every part of his legs, arms, everything was destroyed. He pushed his dick inside out.
What?
Yep. His dick went inside out, inside his body. And after all the surgeries they could do, he's left with a tiny little tic-tac pecker that he can pee out of with a
jeez.
bag.
Oh, God.
So he tells me this story and then goes, but, you know, I didn't die.
Way to look at it.
Oh.
I mean, like, if that happens to you, at least have somewhat of a positive outlook on it. Jesus, like, out of a situation that has no positivity whatsoever, other than the fact that you're still alive.
Yeah. And he was like stoked. He was still like,
That's
but you know what? I
intense
didn't die.
rehab afterwards.
Yeah,
like
bro.
that sounds like years
Yeah.
of working. Like he should, by all accounts, should be dead.
Oh, bro. He was on medical prescription 2 years before it was legal for
yeah.
marijuana.
Yeah. Okay.
Like his payout was something like, I think it was like 6.5 million, I think.
Fuck.
But as he said, he's like, man, I just got to do my best to just try and do something good with the money. Because I can't work.
Good. Yeah.
I'm out of money forever. This is all I got.
Yeah. Fuck.
No matter what, this is all I'm going to make.
And this is a bloke cutting your hair.
No.
No.
I was telling him the story because we were talking about perspective.
Yes. Okay.
We were laughing at perspective. And
Yeah.
then what we were getting at the end of it was like, he just started cracking himself laughing. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, man, I'm bitching and moaning about shit. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
100%.
He's
It's like, my
life's
issues are not that
so
bad.
good.
100%, man. You take a step back and you're like, shit is not so bad.
Yeah, bro.
Shit's not so bad. You
It
can have
can
some
get
dark
worse.
times, but and like I don't want to diminish anyone's dark times. Like there's some shit that everyone goes through and it's not fun.
Yeah.
But it is good to kind of just take a step back. As hard as it may be,
Yeah.
take a step back and realize, okay, well, you know, I'm healthy. I've got loving people around me. I've got a roof over my head. I've got food coming in.
Yeah.
Everything's okay.
Yeah. And I love this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. The worst thing you've ever been through is the worst thing you've ever been through.
100%. Yeah, and no one can tell you that their worst thing is more worse than yours.
Yeah.
It's like it's all
Because it's actually the same emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it might be like on a universal scale, it might be worse. Like if you ask 100 people which one's worse, they might say yours is worse.
Yeah.
But to them, that's still the worst thing that they've ever experienced. So
Yeah.
that's their worst.
Yeah.
You can't tell them it's not.
And I like it on The Simpsons when he says, worst day of your life so far.
Exactly. Yeah. There's always another one.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, bro, it's been to the end of the podcast. We've been going on for long enough now to the point where I usually like to wrap them up because if it's any longer than this, it is too long.
And we will be going on for
We will never stop.
yeah, we'll just keep we'll find something to talk about.
Yeah, we will never stop. But I have got one final question that I do ask every single person that comes on to wrap up at the end of the podcast. But before I do, I have to say, I'm so grateful you came and did this episode, bro. I'm so grateful you came.
It's been good, man. I'm glad I came.
Yeah, I want to do another one again in the future. Like I built this room to be able to do group pods.
Yep.
So I'd like to start doing some reunion episodes.
Oh,
I feel like that'd be really good. You know, I've just done Mersey, and you know, I've been talking to Del. He comes on quite often to the episode, so I think it'd be a good way to start.
That's an idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I wouldn't mind eventually just getting like an entire reunion.
Yeah, Jesus. Fuck,
Um,
man.
just
Have
the
everyone in the
boys,
same
the boys,
room?
yeah. Yeah.
The core group.
Yeah, and it's having in and out. It's people in and out.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah, I
think
like
I'd
that
love
idea.
But yeah, dude, I'm so grateful you came into this episode.
Of course,
I've
man.
missed
Thanks
you.
for having me.
I've missed you.
It's been so long, man. It's good to... We got to do this more often. Maybe not even like with the podcast. Just
Yeah.
go hang out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down. As soon as you have something booked in, let me know. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'll come
of course,
see.
man. Yeah, I will try and get some mixes out as soon as possible. I'm pretty like I have mixes, but like it's that thing where it's like, oh, it's not good enough yet, so I don't want to
Yeah,
release
yeah.
it. But I don't feel like it's ever going to be good enough, so I might as well just start pumping shit out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll try to put some stuff out and hopefully land a couple more gigs, and then yeah, when something comes up, I'll definitely let you know.
Nice. Gang. It was easy, beautiful. Well, the final question I have to ask you is, it doesn't matter how many times I ask it, I'm always going to get a different answer, and it's not what someone says sometimes, it's just how they say it, and for some people to really recognize it, like, oh, that makes sense to me. So the question I like to ask is, if someone came to you because they were feeling depressed, mostly because they were lost, what advice would you give to that person?
I mean, honestly, depending on what avenue of advice they want to hear, like if it was just like, hey, I'm feeling really down, I need someone to be with right now or someone to hang out with, then I probably would try and find, like, as cliche as it sounds, find a nice area, and we don't even have to talk. We can just be there just so they know that there's someone there that will just sit with them if they need it. Like, and if you want to talk, we'll we'll chat. We'll chat about everything that's going on. But if you don't want to talk, we can sit there, we'll just shut the fuck up. We'll sit there. If you're a fan of music, we'll put on whatever favorite music you like, and we can just exist for a bit and kind of just try and separate themselves from how they're feeling. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it is quite a situational question. I feel like it all depends on what sort of situation they're going through. But as a generalized answer, yeah, I'd probably just try and take them away from anything busy. Like we can just go be ourselves, kind of just somewhere alone. If you want other people there, we'll bring them. Like, yeah, it also depends on the person that comes to me, because everybody's different. Like, and with all my friends, it's like I know, okay, they like this, they don't like this. They're a people person, they're an introvert. Like, I can kind of accommodate where they sit. So yeah, I mean, as a general thing, yeah, probably just very generic, but yeah, take them away and just give them a break from whatever is hurting them. And I know you can't give them a break when it's like something that's going through their head, and like you can't really separate them from their head. But what you can do is try your best to let them know that there's someone here that you can just be around, and we're not going to judge you. We're not going to make you feel bad. We're going to just sit here and be with you.
Yeah, great answer, dude. And, I like the fact that you said generic, but I've never heard an answer like it. Trust me. Every answer is always different.
Yeah, well, everyone's got their own kind of way of dealing with things. And I know for myself, like if I'm the type of person that if I'm feeling down, I need to find someone that I like love and very close with and just be with them. Not necessarily just sit in silence, but yeah, we'll chuck some music on. Try and have a laugh. I know it's hard, but like obviously when I laugh, it's such a heightened and great emotion.
Yeah.
So obviously like not to like, poke fun at them, but like try and make it a little bit lighter when it's obviously a very dark thing and it's not light. But if you can find a way to sneak in a laugh for them, it really does go. Because there's been times where I've been feeling so down and one of my friends will say something funny and I'll be like, thank fuck you said that. 'Cause that's like, it's such a shit situation, but you've made me feel so much better from just this one offbeat joke.
Yeah. It's that's the cure for sadness, laughter. Laughter is the ultimate form of medicine.
100%. It's so good. Like, I am always down for a laugh. Like, even if I'm at my lowest, if you make me laugh, I'm like, still funny. Yeah, make me laugh.
It is on farts, eh? Yeah.
It's so mature, but it's so funny, man. Like, I will never not laugh at a fart.
Yeah,
like, it's so dumb and it's so childish, but like, if someone rips one, I'm like, funny.
Depends how close I am to them, like in vicinity wise. Like if I'm right there, I'm down there up and they fight, I'm not laughing.
Oh, you're not happy. Not like, all right, can you please have some level of respect for me?
Yeah, just shit on me, Yeah. Nah, but I love the answer, dude. I love the answer. It's just being present with someone.
Yeah, just being there for them. And I know it's like it's like an umbrella term. Like there's so much more that you could do, but the basis of it is just being there for them.
Yeah. Beautiful answer, dude. Beautiful answer to wrap a beautiful podcast, dude. I think you're a beautiful person.
Thank you.
I'm very, very fortunate to know you. I'm sad that I haven't been able to know you as well as I used to, but
oh man,
there's no better excuse. Yeah, there's no better excuse than a podcast.
100%. This was great. I'm very, very thankful for the opportunity to come on here. Bit nervous about it, but no, this has been great. I'm very happy that we got this done.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, beautiful. Everyone listening, thank you for making it to the end of the episode. There'll be another episode next week as per usual. And everyone listening, that's a wrap.
Shawty catch a vibe, yeah, I had to put her on. Bought a two-seater, yeah, we heading for the sun. Shawty got my high, I ain't tripping for the funds. Yeah, I won't start, I ain't tripping, I'm a stunt.